Yeah, I bet you didn't expect to see us back so soon, you spooky fucks. Also, yes, hi, hello, welcome to Gooncast. I'm James, also known as Saber0307. And we're back. Much faster than normal.
By popular demand.
Yeah.
You opened the box.
Yeah.
We came.
Yeah. Both of you wanted us back really hard.
Yeah.
All two
we
of our
love
fans.
you so much.
Actually, one of them is the reason why we're doing this particular episode.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I'm Kat, aka the Attack Cat. Dialogue designer by day, writer / horror enthusiast / artist by night.
And once again, it's your boy Lee Alder, the Valley Jester, fantasy and horror writer, and villain enthusiast extraordinaire.
Yeah, I mean, aren't we all?
Yeah,
that's why we're here.
Yeah, that's why we're here. We were inspired by our favorite villain, Renzi, who is a big bully to his mods. Big bully and villain to everybody to do our.
Pretty sure you're his villain, though, right?
No, no.
No. I think the best villains are always the ones who think they're in the right.
Listen.
Oh man, we're gonna get into
we've already been over this, all right? Where Grant has said, "I am the villain who the hero realizes is right in the end."
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
That's not me. That's somebody I've worked with, and everybody I've told that to goes, Grant. "Yeah, no, that's very accurate."
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to start off with, we may have some minor spoilers, I think, for some of these
think
games.
They're kind of unavoidable, yeah.
There's one in particular I am going to do my best to not get too into, only because of the fact that I know Kat hasn't played the game, and I really want her to play the game. But before we get into that...
I'm okay with spoilers if you want to actually talk about it. I can always, mute you or something.
Sure. I mean, you should mute me on principle anyway.
I usually do. Before
we get into that, I'm stealing Lee's gimmick of, James, what are you drinking / don't put that in your body? And basically,
we need a theme song. I feel like we need a theme song for this.
We do.
Yeah.
I'll ask Mike.
Yeah,
so I ordered a tall boy shaker cup from G Fuel because I wanted a big boy glass and whatever, and it came with a starter kit where it's 10 samples of different flavors, and most of the G Fuel flavors in this starter pack thing I've never had before. So I have Battle Juice, which according to the website is allegedly a pineapple-y flavor.
Allegedly.
They claim it's a specific, it tastes like something, but I have no idea. It's just called Battle Juice. It's inspired by Face Clan, I guess.
I know it's supposed to be pineapple rings, but it looks like lifesavers.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I'm looking at pictures of this and oh Christ.
Yeah, it's vaguely pineapple-y. Vaguely. It's not terrible. I mean, there's some weird G Fuel flavors that I just refuse to try. There's 4 different Sonic flavors, and I've tried 3 of them, and they're all pretty good, but the one I refuse to try is chili dog flavor. I'm I don't want to drink a chili dog.
Bro, but what about plasma? The Morbius flavor.
No, I did want to have Maiden's Blood, which is the Lady D flavor, but that's been out of stock for a year and a half. It even came in an extra large tub because it was Tall Lady. And I'm I want that.
A bust?
Yes.
Excellent.
Probably.
It came in a corset.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, I should have had her on the list. She's on all of the lists in my heart. Actually, she's not a villain.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I mean, she could be.
She's the hero. I will hear no arguments otherwise.
She could be an honorable mention otherwise. I mean, I have one honorable mention.
Ooh, okay.
I have one as well. Yes.
Maybe I'll think of some honor. I had a slew of people, and I kept being churning through them Yeah, this was actually kind of a difficult list for me to get through.
Same.
Other than like the top 2, I think I was kind of like, man, there's a lot here, and I mean, yeah, we can talk a little bit about that, but I think also that like I tend to play games that don't have antagonists in them, or at least they don't have like. So I play a lot of like murder mystery games, right? And James joked like, "Oh, have the the bad guy in all of the Nancy Drew games. Like every Nancy Drew, every one of your top 10 is a Nancy Drew villain." And I was like, I kind of feel like with those games, I meant this to somebody. The analogy I used was that like in Scooby-Doo, the guy underneath the mask is not as interesting as the mask itself.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I feel like for most of these like mystery game villains, where it's like the mystery of who the killer is kind of more important than the actual identity of the killer.
Sure.
So
Except for that time where the guy underneath the mask was Don Knotts.
Oh yeah, that was great. Although I did also keep telling you to put Tom Nook on your list.
yes, that is true.
Tom Nook is a vile creature and
I mean,
does not belong anywhere on our list.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the true villain of Animal Crossing is capitalism, though, which, I mean, is embodied by Tom Nook, but really, he's just a cog in that machine. Today, and thank you all for coming to my TED Talk.
Listen, I think even if Animal Crossing existed in a world without capitalism, Tom Nook would find a way to be a villain. He's just that kind of guy.
You know who else is a villain in Animal Crossing? Fucking Rossetti. Bitch, I turned off my system for a reason. You don't have to yell at me for that.
I miss Rossetti.
Yeah. But
well,
anyway.
I guess before we dive into the list, did either of you have any like specific criteria that you set for yourselves in writing your list?
Oh, I did.
Okay.
Did you, James?
Kind of. My criteria was it isn't necessarily a villain, just someone else's antagonist. That's kind of how I went with it. And also there's a lot of murky gray areas where you may have someone who's, say, a protagonist in one story and then they return as an antagonist in another, or in another story they have like maybe a quasi redemption arc, or there's a lot more gray to them. One of my main spicy pick is the one that I think Lee will understand why I picked it, but it is a spicy pick.
Okay. So my criteria was I had a couple. First is my most obvious one, which is that I don't like to toot my own horn. And so therefore any game that I worked on or like worked even tangentially on was like a no-go.
Oh yeah, that for me went without saying too.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple of villains that like, or villains or antagonists in games I've helped make that I really like, but I'm just like, I don't want to be that person, So I just don't. I'm just not. Right?
Yeah, like I really like Comstock as a villain in BioShock Infinite, but there is no fucking chance he will ever goddamn be on a list.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Also, I was pretty strict about like anyone who is playable is like by default not an antagonist. So despite the fact that like my example was mild spoilers for The Last of Us Part 2. Abby in The Last of Us Part 2, very much a villain, or very much the antagonist of Ellie's story, rather, not a villain. The antagonist of Ellie's story, but also a playable character in her own right, and by that same definition, you could argue that Ellie is also a villain, or also an antagonist. God, I'm getting...
That tracks.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like, that was my personal criteria, and
I also limited it to one per franchise.
Yes,
I did. I kind of bent my rule a little bit in one regard, in terms of like I have like kind of a shared.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like I was tempted to bend it a little because there was an instance where I could have bent it, but I decided not to.
Yeah. And also I will say that in a couple of like in a couple of chats that we've had leading up to this, you know, like I've already kind of like mixed up the terms myself, but we were pretty adamant that like an antagonist is not a villain. You know, like like they are not completely equated to one another. An antagonist can be a villain,
Yeah.
but they don't necessarily have to be. Like it just needs to be somebody who opposes the protagonist. So yeah, like even I think most of mine ended up being more on the like, you know, evil side of things in general, just because those are kind of the characters I gravitate toward.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like, you know, if you wanted to have an antagonist that, you know, like, you know, in a game where, for instance, you are playing as not a good person and your antagonist is somebody who is a good person, it's like, well, that person's not a villain, but ... right? So.
One other criteria that I did kind of go with is there's some instances where a character that I chose appears in multiple games, sometimes in multiple games as an antagonistic role. But for me, I specifically chose one of their appearances as opposed to like the entirety of their canon in whatever franchise or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's fine. Like as long as it's not. I think we also said like we don't want to do the like Dragon Ball Z thing where like
yes, the Vegeta rule.
We kind of also kept we kept it strictly to characters that originated in video games as well.
Oh, that too. Yes, because like I love the Joker in the Arkham games, but you know, he's the Joker, right? Like it's like
baby.
Yeah, he's
and
the Joker
baby.
You know, and same with like, you know, there's a lot of villains in the Spider-Man games that are like they're cool, but no, like they're cool because we have, you know, countless hours of media about them that are not just video games.
Sure. And like even though say like Dracula in Castlevania is very much his own unique identity, he still originated outside of the medium. So I was like, he's not eligible.
It's like an interpretation of the character exclusive to a game. Maybe that's a little bit more of a like wiggle room, but at the same time, I do think that like it's Dracula, you know, like
yeah. It may sound like we set a bunch of rules for ourselves, but really it was just putting up some guidelines.
Yeah, very loose guidelines. Some were followed, some wasn't. For the most part, it was independent, and it's going to be fun to see the justification as to why this list is.
The only rule I kind of kept myself strictly to outside of the similar ones you guys mentioned, like the Vegeta rule, which is someone who is a villain for like a cup of coffee and then they become a hero.
Yes.
Would be, I kept mine strictly into my personal tastes with no regard for legacy value.
Oh, yes.
I don't care how cool
really good...
and impactful and badass Ganondorf is.
Yes.
I'm not going to put him in there just because he's one of gaming's most iconic villains.
Yes. This is, and I think for me that kind of went without saying because like we did the like top 10, or we did our personal like top 10 games, and it's like, yeah, most of my games wouldn't be anywhere near the top 10 of like anybody else, right?
Yeah,
so so yes, just bear in mind for everyone listening that this is very much our individual personal taste.
Yes.
So like
we're not making like definitive
top 10
villains of all time.
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
Like,
fuck that.
No.
You know, bear with it. You've been listening to the Goons for long enough. You know what you're in for. Yes, GLaDOS is a wonderfully funny and amazing, long-lasting villain, but no, GLaDOS will not be on my list.
Okay.
All right.
I hope to see GLaDOS on someone else's list.
Excellent.
Yeah, you know, like, it's, you should know me by now. I like Drakengard and Illbleed. I have shit taste.
I know, I was gonna say.
I have shit taste.
Yeah. We all have shit taste, all right? All right. But like if we're ready, I think we should just kick this motherfucker off.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. We're starting off strong with number 10. Most feared gaming antagonists, Makoto K. Dwan, the writer of Corpse Party.
Oh, yes.
All right, I'm kidding. But no, really, I'm not. What have you done with your life and your legacy? So for my number 10, this one is interesting for me because it is a character in a franchise that I have not really explored a whole lot. I've waded my feet into the waters of the franchise, but this character is a one-off and makes such a strong showing in the game that he appears in that it would be wrong to not put on the man who could break the president in two, Senator Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising.
Go!
Oh my god.
Let's go. He was a strong
Okay.
candidate for me, but
Awesome.
I gotta put this motherfucker on there. So I'm not a big Metal Gear guy. I respect the franchise, but I don't like stealth games, just period.
sure, fair.
I know that the genre, I know that the franchise has started to expand its genres a little bit and play with a lot of things, but none really caught my attention until I happened to just catch wind of Armstrong just once the memes started going around, nano machines, son. I'm like, oh, I got to get in on this action. And this dude is such a gigantic Giga Chad. He is United States Senator for Colorado, I think.
Is this the I made it the fuck
football.
up guy?
Yeah, that's not a quote from the game, but they've made that into a meme and it fits perfectly.
Yes, all right, because that's who I was picturing. So
he's weaponized libertarianism.
Yes,
oh my God.
he is weaponized libertarianism. So his whole gimmick is he wanted to stage a political conflict with Pakistan, utilizing a mercenary company as like a foil. And his plan involves like stealing the brains of children to like create child soldiers. And and his whole purpose at the end of the day, which he gives in a probably shit you not like solid 25 or 30-minute monologue.
It's so good.
Is to put the United States back into war, to create a war economy, to bolster the U.S. To bolster our jobs, put us back into that, overdrive we get when we're really in a time of conflict. And his ultimate goal is to create a world where men fight their own battles, where they're not enlisted into an army to fight for other people's ideals, where every man and woman can just fight for what they believe in, which is completely psychotic when you really get down to like the nuts and bolts of it.
Super psychotic, and it really ties into like the game itself, because that's what Raiden is inadvertently doing. He's fighting his own fucking battle. It's god damn it, dude.
Yeah, I'm a big sucker for when you get to those antagonists, and especially if they're in a boss fight and it's a good one-on-one. And just something about their appearance is like, this can't be the boss. What? It's just like, it's some dude in a suit, like pushing his glasses up onto his nose, and he's got like a mole, and you're this super slick cyborg samurai serial killing machine, and then he beats the piss out of you.
With wrestling moves.
Oh yeah, he's suplexing Raiden and shit. But I love this character so much because what he brings to the table in terms of like meme value is absolutely balanced out by what a terrifying presence he creates.
Yeah.
Having one of those insane plans where someone who's really like involved in a dangerously political spectrum could absolutely broach these kinds of topics and approaches like at a Senate hearing. This is what would happen if a psychotic politician had superpowers.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he's genuinely a terrifying villain, but he is also so fucking fun.
Yeah, great theme song.
Cool.
Great combat mechanics. He's one of those bosses that you get him down to 20%, and then he starts doing an overpowered super heal move that you have to counter immediately, or he regains his whole health bar, and then you hate yourself. Oh yeah.
My God.
He's the first boss in the game who has double health bars too.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, he's an asshole. So
this actually reminded me because I have never played a single Metal Gear game. And every time I hear about them, it's like more and more batshit, and I'm just like, yeah, Oh, I see it. I like Death Stranding. I know what I know what that flavor is all about. But you reminded me of another one of my metrics for this list was that I did not include anyone that whose game I have not played. So
fair.
Yeah,
I
think
fair.
I think there are. Yeah, I think that's probably a given for everybody. But like, yeah, I'm like this sounds like a cool ass villain, but like. I haven't played the game, so I just can't.
Well, as soon as we can hang out
that.
again, I'm gonna make you play it now, Kat.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that metric because there is a particular antagonist that I adore so much, and it's from a game I've never played before, just because I haven't had the console to do so. But there's an antagonist in Bloodborne who I'm like obsessed with.
Oh yeah,
and I've never been able to touch the game, and it's like. I don't know if I
Did they make your list?
No, I didn't put them on the list because it would have felt like kind of, weird not having played the game and had the experience. But like, I fucking adore everything about their aesthetic and their gimmick. But yeah, so it's funny. I did kind of consider that for a fleeting moment.
Yeah.
But so starting off my list is the man who could have gone pro if he hadn't joined the Navy, Senator Armstrong.
Yep.
Excellent.
College ball,
All right. So my first one on my list, my number 10 is higher on someone else's list.
Womp, womp.
we had to do it. We had to do it.
That's how we start off these lists.
So my honorable mention is Thomas from Phasmophobia.
Excellent.
Because Thomas is the scariest fucking thing imaginable. He is always terrifying and always maniacal and always usually kills me. Like he's pretty terrifying.
They've added so many more names, and yet
he's so elusive.
We know he's there.
He's there,
watching.
He's still
waiting.
So I don't have too much to say about my actual number 10 pick because like I banged this list out pretty quickly, at least when we first came up with the idea. And then I realized that I needed to kind of like rework it and whatnot. Like this list was a little difficult for me to put together. But my number 10 is Pius Augustus from Eternal Darkness.
Ooh. That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, he is a very fun villain. You play as him very briefly at the start of the game.
Yes. So that's really interesting because from what I have played of Eternal Darkness, he is not super a part of it.
He's the final boss of the game.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah. He's
Damn it, Jam.
Sorry.
Spoilers.
Yeah, it's like he has a presence, but like he is basically like the number one acolyte of whatever horrible elder god you happen to pick at the start of the game.
Hey, cool.
He is a Roman legionnaire who gets turned into a lich. And he's kind of this dick. He's a wonderful dick. He's an asshole. And one of the things that one of the chief reasons why I picked him is if you die in the final boss fight to him, he spits on you. It's pretty great. Yeah, that's like I said, I don't really have too much to say about him outside of he is a very entertaining asshole villain. And I love cosmic horror, and I'm glad I was able to figure out like a cosmic horror type antagonist villain to stick in here.
That's the other thing. I play a lot of cosmic horror games where it's like Sinking City. Who's the villain? Nobody.
Time.
Like really?
Mankind.
Mankind.
Dread itself.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I can't.
Yeah.
Pius is a great one because like he brings a certain amount of like camp factor.
Yeah.
Camp is great in villains.
He gets lichified. And he's still in his like Roman centurion armor. So then like when you're in present day and you come fight him and he's still this like goofy like lich man in Roman gladiator gear, it's like what the fuck is happening?
It's wonderful. And Richard Doyle,
he doesn't joke around.
Richard Doyle kills it as his voice actor too.
I have something to look forward to whenever we play Eternal Darkness again.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so back to Lee.
Okay. Lee, number 9.
All right. This is totally just like a from the heart. Like I couldn't do the list without him. the bane of many a fighting game player's existence,
Oh, no.
depending on which edition you face him in. It's your boy, the Emperor of Outworld, Shao Kahn.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, nice.
Shao fucking Kahn made his
Nice.
debut in Mortal Kombat 2, where he was fair, and then Mortal Kombat 3, where he was unfair, and then Trilogy, where you can just snap the disc in half.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shao Kahn is one of those enduring fighting game personalities that
Mhm.
I don't know why he took off so much, because like Mortal Kombat's full of like iconic characters like Sub-Zero and Scorpion are kind of like
Yeah.
the poster boys, and
Uh-huh.
there's something about Khan that like I don't know why it caught on so well, and I'm just kind of a sucker for the fact that it's probably why he's so near and dear to my heart. He's the first villain that I ever ran into in a game who actively stops fighting you to talk shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You suck.
Yeah, Khan will combo you, and then while you're like recovering from hit stun, he'll just point at you and go, "You will never win." It's
Yeah.
just like,
Wow.
dude, you're rubbing it in, man.
Yeah,
I know you're gonna beat my
please.
ass.
Well, also, at least in like the midway era of Mortal Kombat, the writing behind him was really strong, and he was actually
Yes.
like a brilliant tactician and like
Mm.
menacing and like frighteningly intelligent on top of being a cheap piece of shit. He's kind of a lame piece of shit in like the newer Mortal Kombat games. He's very underwhelming, but yeah, no, he's fucking terrifying, especially with his stupid fucking hammer and super armor and all of that shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I love that, even though, yeah, the presence is a little weaker in the newer games, but I absolutely love that the new set of games was hyping up the new guy, Kotal Khan, and they're like, yeah, look at this badass like mutant Aztec warrior. He like harnesses the power of the sun. This is the new hotness, and then they just still have Khan beat the shit out of him.
Don't bring that up. I'm still hurting over it, man.
Kotal
Khan is too cool. KK in a wheelchair, to quote Sonic XD.
Yeah, it was.
He's
such
gonna
an
roll over your grave.
unceremonious ass beating.
He's gonna roll over your grave, Lee.
It was not okay.
I knew there was going to be fighting game rep in this list, because I was just like, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, there are so many good fighting game villains, and I can't name a single one because I don't play fighting games.
You could have named Master Hand, probably. I don't know what his backstory is.
On my short list,
are you talking about from Smash?
Yeah.
I've never played Smash.
I thought you played Smash. You have a Nintendo console. Everybody's played Smash.
No, Will plays a lot of Smash.
Whatever.
No, I had a short list of fighting game villains that I was entertaining putting on here. Khan wound up winning, but I almost put on Cervantes from Soul Calibur. I almost put on Kazuya from Tekken.
Okay.
But Shao Kahn is just Shao Kahn is just the best.
Kahn?
You know, intergalactic conqueror. You know, he's so petty. He's like, Earth Realm, I'm gonna get you. And even his minions are like, there's like other realms you could go conquer. He's like, nah, this one's really I really don't like this one. It's like,
he's so petty that he keeps cheating and changing the rules to try to fucking make it so he has another shot at winning. He's such an asshole.
Yeah, no, he's the guy who loses and goes, but I still got some good shots in though, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the master of the spammed rising knee, Shao Kahn at number 9.
Nice. All right. So my number 9 is not higher on someone's list. Haha. I actually get to talk about a little dude. So for this one, I dug a little deep. Bit of a deep cut, I think. Probably not as deep as James's, I don't think, but also on GameCube. So there you go. Basically, I had been thinking a little bit, like, I spent a lot of my childhood playing Mario games, right? And I was kind of like, okay, maybe there needs to be some Mario rep on my list. And I'm trying to think, like, who is just, like, a fun Mario villain? You got Bowser. Bowser is the, everybody's choice. Everybody loves Bowser. He's a great villain. Certainly, like, definitely kind of like a sliding scale of, like, depending on where he what game he's in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like some of them he's got great writing and actually like a personality, and you like know who he is and what he stands for, and he's funny. And then other games he's just like a giant lizard that breathes fire, and like you fight him at the end, right? So it's just like, all right, whatever. But I'm gonna say this was an antagonist who first appeared in this GameCube game, and the game itself is just so charming, and like this guy himself as like a villain is such a goofy little thing. When he's revealed, it's Bowser Jr. in Super Mario Sunshine.
I thought you were gonna say Niku for killing all the Yoshis.
Oh yes.
I was really hoping for an out of left field Waluigi pick.
Oh man,
Or
that would be a good one. That would be a good. But you play as him. I don't think he's ever been like a mainline.
No,
villain, right?
He wants to be one so bad.
He wants to be one so bad.
Nintendo keeps shafting Waluigi. At least Wario.
Absolutely.
Like if somebody could pick Wario because he was a fucking villain in Super Mario Land 2.
But so like, you start Super Mario Sunshine, and this like basically somebody is framing you, Mario, for like littering, essentially, right? And you're like, what the fuck? I don't litter. I'm Mario. like what the hell? And then you see this guy who just looks exactly like you, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? And you spend a good portion of the game like chasing this guy down, trying to figure out like who it is, and like the reveal that it's Bowser's kid, and you're like, who? And he's like, how dare you like go on vacation with my mama? And you're just like, what? And Peach is like, what? Like it's such a fun little thing. I don't know.
It's a lot of fun, especially since
goofy.
Peach
it's
is
so goofy and silly, and I'm just like, yeah.
Especially since Peach is stupid enough to entertain the ideas like maybe he is my kid.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Peach,
like,
I think you fucking remember.
You're just like, Peach, really? Like, but yeah, and then like, end of the game is just like, they were also on vacation, and this was just like, Bowser doesn't fucking watch his kid, and so his kid went off and kidnapped the lady that he usually kidnaps.
Yeah.
And sent you on this whole adventure.
Like father, like son.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just cute. It's fun. He's a great little villain. You really want to like rub his nose in it by the end. You're just like, oh, you little scamp. Like
I like that we're getting some variety on the list as far as like, total like villainous scumbags, and then just like the goofy, campy, kind of lighthearted side of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the bratty little kid that's like harassing you. Like so that's my number 9 is Bowser Jr. Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is my spicy pick.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm ready.
I was entertaining 2 potential different antagonists from this franchise before I settled on this one. My spicy pick is playable in the game he's in.
What?
Yeah. And that is 9S from Nier Automata.
Okay.
Okay. Is this Cat Don't Listen Anymore?
I'm not really going to go into why, because yes, I don't want you to get spoiled, but like, I'd like to think that most people would understand why I chose 9S. I think he's a really well-written, well-developed, well-rounded character, but he is totally the fucking antagonist of that game, or at least a antagonist of that game.
I feel like I'm just looking at it through different criteria, because I absolutely agree he's an antagonist. But I did consider him for my list, but I initially didn't put him on because I think you just spend too much time in his point of view, and you spend too much time with him being playable.
That's why I actually chose him, is because it allows you to get more into his headspace.
Well, see, but that I mentioned this before. Yeah, I mentioned this before, but to me that feels like cheating, because I feel like a good video game villain, and for the same reason why I kind of agreed on the whole like no multimedia villains is because like when you have a character that has like so much more like engagement with the audience, whether that is because, you know, they've been reading Batman comics for 30 years or because you literally are in their shoes and you understand their point of view, it's like, well, then it kind of lessens the I think a well-written antagonist in a video game is one where you completely understand this person despite the fact that you are constantly like 2 steps behind them and they're barely in your like purview because
it's really hard for me to articulate the why without getting into massive spoilers.
Sure.
It is a tricky one.
Yeah. I won't I will not yeah. I won't.
It is a very spicy pick.
I won't bash it too much, but that's like exactly my reasoning for not being like you play as Abby for like half the game, right?
Sure.
She's not an antagonist, right? Like it's just like, hello, buddy. Sorry, my cat stepped on me.
Like I said, it's very difficult to articulate the why, despite the fact that he's playable for like a good chunk of the game. Okay. But at least like with my like rationale behind it, if I were to like dive into major spoilers, I think I could better articulate the why.
I won't force you to though.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for you because I really want you to play it at some point.
I will. I
really do. My
well, Lee, since you've played it before without spoiling, do you feel this is spice edging on cheating or?
Oh, it is a spicy pick. I can't call it cheating.
What is it cheating? Okay.
I can't call it cheating. Again, it's just like my personal thing of like I would want the character to be less played to qualify for my list, but I absolutely see where James is coming from here. It's I think it's a very spicy pick. My
alternatives were Kaim in Drakengard 2, not 1, because Kaim is actually not even playable in Drakengard 2. And the Shadow Lord from Nier. No matter what, it was a Yoko Taro pick. But I also specifically stuck him in the 9 spot because 9S. Because I'm an asshole.
Fair. Yeah, right. I did have Adam and Eve on a draft of my list.
They're nice. Good. They're so good. But yeah, that's my spicy pick.
Yeah, that's Inferno spicy.
Yeah, very spicy.
But I don't know if it's quite as spicy as my number 8 pick.
Oh boy. Okay. Nice seg. Let's go.
Okay.
Well, it's only spicy because it's higher else on somebody's list. Cat, go.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh boy. Okay. So I think my number 8 may be a little bit basic. But recently this character came up in conversations because he's related to a game that has recently come out, and specifically in conversation with this group. And as we were talking more and more about like the like where the games he's from, I was like, shit, man, like this is kind of like the quintessential what I want from a video game villain. I want a villain to show me how much of a fucking asshole he is, so I can spend the entire rest of the game motivated to kick his fucking teeth in by the end.
I think I know where you're going with this.
And then I get to kick his fucking teeth in at the end. Yeah, it's Makarov from Modern Warfare.
Yeah, you're goddamn right, it's Makarov.
Yep.
All right.
I'm just just having like no Russian, which, you know, is playable, but you're not put into the shoes of the villain. You're put into the shoes of like someone who is pretending to be one of his cronies.
Yeah.
And you just get so many cool moments of like seeing what a dick this guy is. And you're just like, it's so good. And then that final confrontation on the fucking roof of the skyscraper, I'm like, there are like shots in that confrontation that are just like seared into my brain as like, I'm coming for you, you know,
well, you know, and we already said spoilers, but I mean, he already gets up there because he fucking kills our soapy boy.
He does.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. So like, yeah, I mean, I love that they pull no punches in setting him up as just like irredeemable bastard,
Yeah.
right? He's not really, he ends up being sort of like dethroned in Modern Warfare 2 as the main bad guy because you end up getting betrayed. There's like a twist and you're betrayed by by the Americans basically. Which is great. I actually did think about Shepard being on this list instead of Makarov.
Shepard's good.
Because I think Shepard is a really strong villain and also like has that really good moment of killing your squad.
Yeah.
And just stabbing you in the back. But I think ultimately just like Makarov being built up over like 2 games, and then it's just like I think he's just the ultimate example of like writing a villain writing an antagonist who is just like irredeemably villainous, and you're just like there's no like waffling on like, oh, maybe he has a reason, maybe he's like
there's no redeeming
no,
quality.
maybe there's some gray like gray zones in his no, he is a terrorist and he's he's this fictional monster, and you're just like, I'm gonna throw you off a fucking roof. Like,
yeah, and his death is so fucking satisfying, especially especially the moments after where you got to press a button to light a cigar as Price.
Yep.
And Price is just taking that fucking like almost after sex cigar, but it's for murdering Makarov.
Oh, was that good for you too?
Shout out to Price.
Absolutely. Yeah, shout out to Price. Yeah, no, it's fun. They build up the antagonism between him and Price so good.
Yep.
Like, there's the whole breaking Price out of jail and them all being like, oh, Makarov really wants this target in here. He wants him dead, so we're getting him out. And then it's like the reveal is it's Price, and it's just like, oh yeah, of fucking course. Of course he hates Price.
And then Price blows up space.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's my number 8.
Just a good old-fashioned irredeemable asshole.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it. So my number 8 is a very morally complex villain, and it's Maiden Astraea from Demon Souls.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
She is one of the 5 greater demons that you need to kill in order to get access to the Great Old One. She was a maiden for this one church who basically like was going on like a pilgrimage, and she made her way to the Valley of Defilement, and just the suffering of all the people in the Valley of Defilement, because this is a place where basically the world kind of throws away their trash, and like this is where like fucking dead and aborted babies are thrown down into, and it's just filled with plague and everything like that. And despite being a devoutly religious individual, she had an extreme crisis of faith of just like, how can a god exist when like these people are suffering and treated so terribly? So she effectively sold her soul to the Great Old One to become a demon in order to use her demonic powers to alleviate the pain and suffering of those in the Valley of Defilement. And though her actions are resulting in the deaths of thousands upon thousands of innocent civilians, at the end of the day, she is trying to do good, which makes her an interesting little villain. And by having to kill her in order to save others, you're effectively removing the salvation of everybody in this valley.
Yeah.
And
that is a really, really good pick. I actually remember you sent me the like a lore video about this, because I've never played Demon Souls, but I distinctly remember discussing with you this backstory because it's awesome.
Insanely tragic and awesome and morally complex. And it's one of the things that I constantly like to bring up when people sometimes like cite that the Soulsborne games don't really have narrative or strong characters. Like, no, Maiden Astraea is really fucking strong. Like she is. There's some villains where it's just they're just a villain, whatever.
My disregard for I did actually I spent some time thinking about if there was anyone in Elden Ring that I would put on the top of this list, and I ultimately came away with no.
Sure.
Because I think even though I think there are some very interesting characters, I think none of them really truly felt like an antagonist. It was more, you know, I mean, maybe you could argue like Gideon, the all-knowing.
Maybe. Yeah,
But, like,
Elden Ring is a little more complicated. I can't really
Yeah,
think of too many
exactly.
that I would pick
I think-
outside of just my fucking hatred for fucking millennia.
Yes, exactly.
That's
but
less
she's-
of her
but she's
actions
not-
and
she's
more of
not an
just.
she's not an antagonist, except that you fight her, right?
Yeah,
like it's like
yeah.
that's kind of what it felt like to me for Elden Ring, where it's like
Elden
nobody
Ring
felt
has-
like yeah.
Elden Ring's got a handful of antagonists. It's got one true and thorough villain in Moog.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Moog is an irredeemable piece of shit.
Yes. But I also think like he's kind of sequestered from most of the main stuff, and I just never found him that interesting. So like ultimately, it's like I could also say like Godwin, who's the one that like you fight for the first time and then he comes back later.
I don't.
He's
remember.
like your first big boss. It's Godfrey,
the grafted.
right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I could argue
Godric.
he's probably Godric. Thank you. I could argue he's probably a good antagonist, but he just wasn't that interesting to me.
Yeah,
So-
for me, like at least for like, I don't think I could ever consider any of the Elden Ring characters because while there's certainly a lot of interesting lore there, like none of them have like as strong of a.
I think it's more
tone.
morally. It's very morally gray, and so therefore nobody really sticks out as like this is a person that is against me, right? It's just like the whole world is against you. The world is the antagonist of.
Yeah, it's a bunch of fucking incestuous gods trying to fuck each other over, and you're just caught in the middle of it.
I like hearing these opinions while I'm looking at someone from Elden Ring later on my list.
Oh shit!
I love it.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Excellent. I mean, I guess
It better
maybe
be
you could say that the Three Fingers, maybe since they just want to burn everything down, but that makes them the hero to me. So anyway,
but Maiden Astraea is my pick. There were a couple other.
I love that pick. That's a great
that's
one.
great.
There were a couple other contenders from Soulsborne, but she's the one that's always really fucking stood out to me, just because of the complexity and thought behind her backstory and even the boss fight itself, because you don't even technically actually fight her. She basically is sitting there praying, and she's guarded by her best friend / knight, who basically gave up his knighthood in order to just stay with her because he's like that devout in the cause. And he's basically just a normal NPC in like knight armor. And if you kill him, Maiden Astraea is just so fucking depressed about it that she's just like, fucking do it. Just kill me. Just end it. Because like, take your fucking precious demon souls. You're damning everybody. I don't fucking care. And alternatively, like, because she'll never attack you. She just heals herself. But if you pick her off from a distance or like manage to get past her knight and kill her, her knight gives up and is just like, fucking kill me. My job is, I failed. Just wipe me out. Like, it, no matter what, it's just fucking sad.
Yeah, no one wins in that situation.
No.
Wow.
And it's an interesting and mechanically complex boss fight.
An excellent choice, Jim.
Thank you.
Wow.
Well, and actually a very nice lead into my number 7.
Okay.
Who does for me really hit that horrible sweet spot of like every time you hit them, you keep wishing you could just stop hitting them. Those antagonists that you have a fight with, and you just don't want to hurt them, but you have to. And it's probably the most obscure one on my list. But if you're a fan of the pod, you've heard me gush about Other Side before. My pick is the child, who is the antagonist of Other Side. Essentially, the gist of the child is the Other Side mythos has these beings that can attach themselves to you, and you have like a symbiotic relationship. So in Other Side, you're kind of like POV characters named the Mother. And it is implied that you, the player playing the game, are the godly being attached to her, and that's why you work together.
I love that shit.
Yeah, it's a really cool approach. And so technically I could also say that my choice for the list is the being that is inside of the child, because the child himself is the vessel. He's a very young boy who, because of the being attached to him called the suffering, he is granted immortality. He contracts the plague.
Yes.
And is constantly researched and carved up by plague doctors, especially this guy who they just call the surgeon. And this kid is just put through the most horrible ringer. Like, every time they flay him open and try to understand his immortality, the kid's still alive. He keeps regenerating. He's put into care of this corrupt religious figure called the deacon. And the child forms a brother-sister relationship with one of his maids, who, when the deacon finds this out, throws her into his cell that he stays in, so that he has to watch as she contracts the plague from him and dies.
Yes.
And as soon as that happens, the last bit of human willpower that the child had that was holding back the suffering caves. He snaps watching his essentially sister die from the plague that he gave her. And so once the suffering takes over, he unleashes the nightmare hellscape that we are playing in. And it is brutal to work your way through the bosses, because all the bosses of the game are people from his memories. So, the first ones, they feel great to kill. You fight the plague doctor. Oh, it feels great killing him. You fight the deacon. Feels really good kicking his ass. And then you have to fight the maid, and you go, oh, this doesn't sit well with me. And then you have to fight the child. And there's just that great bittersweet nature of, yes, you are the source of this world being the nightmare hellscape that it is. And yes, we have to stop you, but you didn't deserve any of this. And there's something very, very beautiful about that kind of storytelling and agony that you have to kind of suffer yourself, suffer through yourself as the player. And Other Side is just one of those games that, I'm gonna look for any opportunity I get to stand on an Apple box and talk about how great I think Other Side is. But yeah, just for the, I don't know, the impact of that antagonist really just making you, the player, not want to hurt them. Like, there's something about that I really appreciate. That tells me it's great character design, great writing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's how I feel with Made in Estrella too. Where it's I don't want to. It's I realize I have to, but I don't want to.
Yeah. No.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
that's
great pick.
My number 7, The Child / the Suffering.
Cool.
Yeah, kind of makes me wish that I had more characters like that in games I've played, but yeah, I don't. So, my number 7 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have as good of a segue. I'm sorry.
All right. I forgive you.
Because I don't. Yeah. So this one was also kind of a bit of a struggle for me to pick. Just because I think that this series has a lot of strong antagonists. And I thought about picking some of the one-off ones because I think they are very strong. But I decided to go with a returning antagonist.
Okay.
And yeah, there is actually, I will say, probably not as much tragedy as your 2 most recent picks. But definitely a little bit at least. So, what is a list of mine without a selection from Myst?
Okay.
So yeah, my number 7 is Cirrus, one of the brothers in Myst.
Cool.
Okay.
So to give some, like, a little bit of backstory, in the first game, very simple. He's one of the two brothers that is trapped in the books in the library. And as you continue playing the game, you kind of get a little bit more information about who they are, and sort of what they've been doing. And they're responsible for burning a bunch of the books in their father's library, which essentially, if you don't know this about Myst, but the books are like keys to worlds. So essentially they've killed, they've genocided people, basically. And it's very fucked up. And basically the reason they are now trapped in the library is because their dad, Atris, set a trap for them, essentially. That sort of becomes the tragic crux of the family drama that plays out throughout Myst. Because basically the decision to imprison, because by the end of Myst, sorry, I will be more articulate, but the end of Myst is if you free Atris from his own prison, he gets out and he burns the two linking books to the prison ages that hold his sons. And the implication is that they're dead then, right? Except you learn much, much later in the fourth game, which I listed as, I think, one of my favorite games of all time in our big favorite games of all time list.
Watch that episode if you haven't.
Yeah, get out there and watch it.
Basically you learn at the beginning of the fourth game that burning those two linking books didn't kill them, but imprisoned them for good in these ages. And then in the fourth game, you end up sort of you spend the entire time uncovering sort of what the decision to permanently imprison their sons has done to their father, has done to their mother, Catherine, and even has an impact on their much younger sister, who was born while they were in captivity and has never met them before. And essentially they both get out in the fourth book, or in the fourth game rather. They get out of their books and they kidnap Yisha. And you are tasked with, following them through these various ages and trying to get their sister back and save her. The other brother, Akinar, he is actually redeemed in the fourth game. So as you learn more about him, you learn that his time, I think they spent 20 years in complete isolation on these worlds that have no people in them. So both of them kind of went nuts. But Akinar kind of sort of figured out that what they did was wrong, and kind of started to try to figure out how to make amends, or how to grow as a person, even though he's also kind of dealing with this isolation. Sirius, on the other hand, completely irredeemable, basically. He kind of falls off the deep end. And he basically hatches this scheme to basically transplant his consciousness into Yisha, because his dream since he's been a kid has been to write ages. And when he learns that Yisha is getting lessons from their dad on how to write ages, which are the exact lessons that Atris wanted to teach to his sons before they fucking, genocided a whole bunch of ages, he gets furious and decides he's going to train me one way or the other. So yeah, it's a very fucked up story. And I just love it because there's this element of essentially Atris creates his own monster, and yeah, that actually plays out a lot in the series as a whole, because I'd also considered Gen in this spot. Gen is the main villain of Riven. Gen is Atris's father, and there's a whole massive backstory there that I won't even get into from the novels and everything like that. But then also the third game has another antagonist in Savedro, who is he's a victim of the brothers like genocidal book burnings. So essentially and this is also sort of when they start to hint at like maybe not all of the worlds were lost when their books were burned, because essentially he was like not in his age when they were burned, so he's been stuck where the brothers stranded him essentially. And his whole goal is like, I want to make you pay for what your family did to my family. And like it turns out that like end of the game, you basically like allow him to go home. And it's wonderful. And he's a fantastic villain. So basically like the whole Myst series has amazing villains, but I think that like in terms of impact as a whole, I think Sirius is probably my favorite, because I think just like not only for himself, but for like his impact on everyone else, because basically none of the other villains in the franchise would even exist if not for Sirius and Akanar.
That whole rundown was really fascinating, because as someone who's very aware of the Myst series but has never gotten hands-on with it and is very much an outsider, it's easy to fall into that headspace of, oh, Myst is that puzzle game, and you just kind of take it at face value as just being a puzzle game.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, it's got its own world and storytelling. And
there is a ton of lore, and like
as soon as you said the books, I'm like, oh fuck. There's extended lore.
Yeah. Yeah, I might be I'm not obsessed. It's fine.
It's okay. James and I are gonna watch Yoko Taro's Nier stage plays. It's fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah.
That's a great pick.
Thank you. James?
Yeah, speaking of impactfulness and suffering, my number 7 is Red Pyramid Thing from Silent Hill 2.
Oh,
nice.
wait. Yeah, Pyramid Head?
Red Pyramid Thing. AKA Pyramid Head.
He's my number 10.
Hey, there we go.
Hey. I think the main reason he didn't make it higher on my list was because I think he's very iconic. I think but I didn't necessarily think he was like hugely impactful in his antagonism. But James, prove me wrong.
he was on my like consideration list.
For me, a lot of it just primarily it has to do with like the symbolism and his use in the core narrative and what he represents for James Sunderland, as opposed to like his overall motivations or scheming, because he's kind of an enigma. We don't really know what the fuck Red Pyramid Thing is thinking outside of just I'm here to be a spooky little creepy fuck.
I'm here to fuck mannequins and
stand on the other side of a fucking and stand on the other side of a fucking gate staring at you menacingly. If you unless you're Renzi and you comment about sucking my toes on a photo of JoJo, then I'll kink shame you. It's not even a joke either, Renzi. Anyways,
Hey, don't call out one of our 2 listeners like that. Renzi, you suck on all the toes you want, baby.
Unless they're mine. Suck on other people's toes, not mine.
You consensually suck on all the toes you want, Renzi.
You can suck on my toes, Renzi.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. It was getting too hot for YouTube. It's just mostly like what he represents. I don't want to go, I guess, too much into it, since we had that fucking announcement about the Silent Hill 2 remake, and I'm sure a lot of people who've never played Silent Hill 2 before are...
Which you're thrilled about.
I'm so thrilled about it.
I know.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to be experiencing Silent Hill 2 for the first time, and even though it's an old fucking game, I don't want to like
James,
spoil that.
Silent Hill 2 can never be the worst thing ever, because Silent Hill HD collection exists. All right?
You know, you say that, and I'm sure there's gonna be like press X to suffocate Mary with a pillow.
No.
And it'll be a slow time event.
We said no spoiler.
We did, but you know what?
Oh boy, everyone.
Roses are red and blue is the sea. The remake is coming. It all ends in me.
P. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically
boy.
my thing is
Nice.
most of this order outside of maybe the top 3 is completely
Yeah.
arbitrary for me. So
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
like I said, I picked 9S for 9 for the meme value. So
Yeah. Of course. Number 6.
Well, speaking of, actually,
Oh.
James.
Oh boy.
James has his 9S.
Oh.
I also have a 9S. I have the 9-ball Seraph from Armored Core.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you about this asshole.
Okay.
So, 9-ball is kind of the recurring villain in Armored Core who just keeps popping up and you keep going, didn't we like take care of you? And they just do the hand wave and it's like, shut up, it's 9-ball. He's here again. Deal with it. And typically when villains start doing that, I get really, really frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Except every time 9-ball shows up in another Armored Core game, I get like a little giddy and I'm like, oh shit, how many times I gotta teach you this lesson, old man? So the framing for his initial appearance is every Armored Core game has 2 different like major roads you can play. They have the missions, which are like the core narrative, and there's the arena, which is battle your way to the top of the rankings against all the other pilots. And 9-ball is the top of the heap. He's number 1. His 9-ball is the suit. The pilot is named Hustler 1. And the whole game, you're kind of like in his shadow. You're doing the missions and you're hearing about how fucking cool 9-ball is. And by the time you reach the end of the game, the story missions and the arena start to converge because it's revealed that Hustler 1 doesn't exist and is an alias. And 9-ball Seraph is a sentient AI that has become self-aware. It's a super advanced combat unit, and it started like weaving these really complex stratagems. And essentially what it's done is in the world of Armored Core, the world is run by like the mega corporations. The entire point of the game is you play as a mercenary and you keep selling yourself out on contracts to these mega corps so that they can have their pissing matches with each other. And 9-ball has figured out that is completely illogical and doesn't make any sense. These mega corporations need to go. So 9-ball has infiltrated the nervous network that runs all of the missions for the mercenary company called the Raven's Nest. And the entire game, all of the missions that you've been running to disrupt the operations of all the corporations have been organized by 9-ball. And you have been kind of the puppet knocking out the corporations.
Would you kindly, eh?
Exactly. It's very much a would you kindly situation.
Oh, no.
And so
Beautiful.
then you find out at the end, okay, to bring this all to an end, I have to beat the number 1 in the arena. And you do it. You beat 9-ball's ass. And then you get to the expansion, and it turns out, well, technically, like the 9-ball was just a program. It has upgraded itself, built itself a new suit called the Seraph, which is where 9-ball Seraph comes in, and has started mass producing itself because it now realizes after learning from its failures, oh, I can't rely on other people to do this. I need to do it myself. Therefore, I must create an army. So you have to then fight through to destroy the source of the AI itself. But because of how deeply integrated it's been into the nervous system that coordinates all these missions and everything for your mercenary network, you effectively destroy your own mercenary team. You wipe out their nervous system, their whole network, and leave it defunct. And there's just something so cool, like I said, about like when you think the problem's dealt with and it'll just like rear its head every so often because it's a persistent, forever evolving computer program. You think you're going to take care of it, and then every couple of games, you'll see Nine Ball pop up, and you go, no, no,
no,
no.
bad.
You bop him on the
you
head, so he
cheeky
goes
little
back into his
fuck.
hole. There's just something so delightfully persistent about Nine Ball that is really endearing. And then on a functional level, like the fights with his suits are always really, really difficult, but in that way of they're always like fair one-on-ones. Like I think there's a couple of exceptions where there's a couple like ads or like you have to fight two like weaker versions of Nine Ball at once, but mostly it's just a good one-on-one mech duel with the best in the world. And I he's definitely a little bit of like a childhood nostalgia pick, but I do love me some Nine Ball Seraph. This is the one on the list that James called out. James is like, all right, where on your list is Nine Ball? And
I said which Nine Ball? Because I know there's like 98 different fucking Nine Balls.
And my answer is all of them.
Oh my god.
And Nine Ball Seraph is sitting nice and comfy at number 6.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Okay, my number 6. I think this one is a bit of a cheat.
Okay.
Because I kind of want to just like, I think this character is like the first example of like a trope in the series, and it's a trope I really enjoy. And so therefore like I struggle to just like straight up pick them because I'm just like, well, it's more that I really like anytime they do this kind of thing. So I think most people would say that the main antagonist of the Phoenix Wright trilogy is Edgeworth.
Oh my god.
And I would disagree with those people. I think Edgeworth is a fantastic character. I think he's a very fun antagonist to go up against. But I think ultimately the line between antagonist and like friend is so blurred with Edgeworth that it becomes kind of a, you know, like you're
like
basically
a frenemy situation.
It's a frenemy situation. Yes, it's enemies to lovers, and I'll hear no arguments otherwise.
The fan fiction is written.
It's not even fan fiction. It's in the it's subtext in the games. Damn it. My pick though for who I think is one of the best antagonists or best antagonist types in the Phoenix Wright games is Von Karma. So for those of you who haven't played, Von Karma is the prosecutor that trained Edgeworth. He's like the guy. He is like the head prosecutor. He has a spotless fucking record in court. Basically, if you go up against Von Karma, you lose. Basically, it's just like, so he is built up through the first game as this like, you know, just like really like you're like, okay, he's gonna be like a tough fucking boss, right? And then the final case is, and this is also why I bumped Edgeworth off of like, you're not really the antagonist here. The final case is that Edgeworth, who has been your opponent in these courtroom battles for hi buddy, for most of the game, for most of the most of the court cases, he gets accused of murder, and you have to defend him. I know, it's such a twist. So you have to defend him, and the prosecutor in the case is his former mentor, Von Karma. And like when I tell you this final case was such a jump in difficulty, like it becomes this like, he basically, like, it's not just, you know, oh, he's schemy, he's villainous. He owns the fucking courtroom. He's like telling the judge what to do. He's making it so that like when you get an answer wrong, it's not just, oh, you get dinged one of your points, and if you lose 3 of those points, you have to like start from an earlier save. He's like, if you fuck this questioning up, you're out of the courtroom. Like, game fucking over. And it's just like, it's one of the most like intense, fun final battles. And also, spoiler alert, he's the murderer.
Oh my god.
So essentially, you have to take this guy who's like completely in power and not only like, you know, kind of usurp his position, but also prove that he's the true villain, like, you know, behind everything. And it's just like, it's such a cool final boss encounter. He's got such a neat, like, menacing air about him. And they've done in follow-up Phoenix Wright games, they've done similar characters, which, like, most recently they had one in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles that I won't spoil because it's like kind of a major spoiler, and those games came out fairly recently. But a very similar like Von Karma vibe where it's like this guy is the fucking, you know, the power of he's basically like the law where you are, right?
I just looked up a picture of this dude and I'm like, oh, this totally looks like the final boss of an Ace Attorney game.
Abso-fucking-lutely. And he's wonderful. He's awesome. And he's got quite the I think his reputation is deserved. He's a very tough boss, especially like the first time you go through the game, because all of us, like, you know, you've had so much leeway with Edgeworth where you're kind of equals. Maybe you're a little bit underneath him, but like, you know, like he's been practicing for 10 years and you just started, so like there's a little bit, but like this guy, spotless fucking record. He's been literally like a staple of the courts for like the entire time they've been established. And yeah, not only do you have to like prove that he murdered this guy, but also prove that he's behind like a cold case from 10 years ago that resulted in like, you know, basically like he's also somewhat really relevant to Mia's death from like Mia's death from the very beginning, and like the death of Maya and Mia's mother. And it's like, oh my god, like so yeah, he's a fantastic antagonist, and he's my number 6.
Beautiful.
I forget what his first name is, but Von Karma. Prosecutor Von Karma.
Well, speaking of secret villains, my number 6 is from a game that I played actually this year. Wendy from Rule of Rose.
Ooh.
She is it's really, really she is such a fucking monster. She is a manipulative, gaslighting asshole. You can kind of see to an extent where she's coming from, because a lot of what she does stems from her own history and backstory and whatnot, but like everything that happened to your character, all of the endless bullying that you endured and the tragedies that occur in Rule of Rose stem from her and her jealousy. Long story short, I think I've mentioned this to you guys off podcast, although I gushed briefly about Rule of Rose before. Your character meets Wendy after you survive a Zeppelin crash, and you're kind of taken in by this farmer who has undergone his own tragedy where he lost his son and is taking you in and has kind of convinced himself that you're his son. And she's a orphan at a local orphanage, and because of the fact that you're dressed as a boy, she's constantly like hanging out with like peeping in on you, and she and you kind of eventually form this very special bond that is up to interpretation. Some say it's a very close friendship, some say it's a romance, but regardless, she helps you escape your little predicament, and you go move into the orphanage, and all is perfect until your character discovers an abandoned puppy that you name Brown, because Jennifer, God bless her, is kind of unoriginal. Oh, it's a brown dog. I'm going to name it Brown. Anyways, Wendy becomes jealous of Brown the idea that someone is taking away her friendship or relation, or something is taking away your attention from her. So she constantly tried to basically convince you to abandon Brown, and the more that she did this, the more it kind of pushed Jennifer away from Wendy. So she then began to sort of do Machiavellian-esque shit and kind of orchestrate shit behind the scenes to get the other orphans at the orphanage to bully you incessantly in the hopes of trying to get you to abandon your brand new dog. And when that didn't work, she orchestrated the murder of Brown. And it's a heartbreaking, tragic fucking reveal, and it leads to the ending that I said I've told you, where I fucking cried on stream because of it. It was just so heart-wrenching and everything like that. But like, because the way that the game is presented, it's an adult Jennifer revisiting the orphanage that she grew up in, because she basically blocked out all of her memories of her time there due to the intense emotional trauma that she experienced there. And she's kind of revisiting her fragmented memories out of order, and Wendy is sort of presented as like the one light, that like the only orphan who's not bullying you, when in reality she's the one who is orchestrating everything. And it's just heartbreaking and cruel and exceptionally well written, and it's tragic. But yeah, Wendy from Rule of Rose.
Oh, yeah.
I
Nice.
really like that that's making an appearance here, because Rule of Rose is one of those games that was like notoriously like undersold and under
Yeah, it
produced.
A lot of that stemmed from fucking a stupid moral panic where
yeah,
politicians and journalists basically kind of made shit up about the game. Like they claimed that the game had underage eroticism, which isn't true, and they claimed that there's a sequence where children are buried alive, and it's like, that's also not true. Like at one point, you as a grown-ass adult are thrown into a coffin, which is then transported into an airship, but you're not buried and you're not a child.
I mean,
it's part of it. It's a hazing ritual, and it's fucked up, sure. But like,
what do you mean? That's just how I get around in Elden Ring.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you do. That's what you do. Like, and it.
Are you telling me those gods were hazing me the whole time?
Yes.
Just
the controversy got so bad that the Sony, who actually published the game in Japan, refused to localize it, and some of
these like fan localizations that you're playing?
No. It did similar to Demon's Souls. Other publishers picked up the slack and decided to like localize it for the West. But like 505 Games brought it out in Europe. However, controversy got so bad there that they had to cancel the release in like half of Europe. Even like Peggy, the board that rates the game in Europe, was like, we don't know where these criticisms are coming from. They have clearly not played the game. We have. We've rated it accordingly. We don't know why, like, the Italian Prime Minister is trying to get this game off, like stop it from being sold. None of what he's saying is true, but it didn't stop the game from being effectively not sold in Australia and England and a few other countries. Gameplay is like absolute fucking shit. The devs even admitted it had a very rough cycle, but it's so exceptionally well written that I highly recommend it. But good luck getting an affordable copy, because since there's this whole big controversy, it is one of the most expensive PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah.
Typically, a used copy of the game can sell for like $900 on eBay.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane. So, you can always do what I did and emulate it, because I ain't fucking spending $900 on this shit. I ain't got that kind of money.
In many circumstances like that, emulation is more than acceptable.
Yeah.
Get out there and play that shit, people.
Yeah.
The
And
story must be heard.
the story must be heard. Just know that the gameplay is the combat is fucking terrible. It is fucking infuriating. So download a save off GameFAQs and use the bonus weaponry to expedite the combat. That's what I did, baby. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Hack frauding your way through it.
Fuck yeah, baby.
Nice. Good choice.
All right.
Number 5.
Okay.
Mambo number 5.
Now, this is the closest I get to pushing a rule. And it's the rule of at which point does an antagonist who does something completely irredeemable but then later on become frenemies? Like, when does that become justified? At what point is like the shit you've done has just been so heinous that like, I really don't agree with you being like partnered up with the protagonist now.
Okay.
And I'm also going to say that my pick is mostly kind of like condensed to the game that it all takes place in, and less maybe the supplementary material that follows it. It'll make sense after I say my pick. So my pick are the Turks, Reno and Rude from Final Fantasy VII.
100% makes sense because fuck the supplementary material.
So
okay, I have no frame of reference to this whatsoever.
Okay. So Reno and Rude are a pair of recurring antagonists in Final Fantasy VII. Now, keep in mind, in FF7, your party are terrorists. You are a team of environmental terrorists. Okay. And Reno and Rude work for the powers that be that run the city. They are part of Shinra Power Company. And they're the goons who keep showing up for like, intermittent boss fights to kind of like, test your levels. And like, they're the difficulty gauge as you're going through it. And in the material that has followed since the mainline FF7 game, they've become frenemies with Cloud and the rest of the team, like helping them out in Advent Children versus Kadaj and his motorcycle gang. But let's not forget the fact that Reno and Rude dropped the plate. Yeah. They killed
a lot of people.
People. Mm-hmm. And in the original game, they killed Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse. So it's like, the fact that these jagoffs get a redemption arc is kind of out there.
Well, Nomura.
I mean, Nomura's gonna Nomura.
Yeah.
So in the context of them just being pure antagonists, I love these guys. Firstly, just like I love the simple kind of style again. I love when you get a couple of dudes who just show up and they're in their like nice crisp suits and they're cracking jokes with each other, and then they give you a really hard fought boss fight. I dig that. But then the fact that they do something so heinous as to essentially drop a gigantic portion of the sky onto a bunch of innocent people, killing thousands. And then Nomura has the balls to be like, they're not that bad, right? They could get along with Cloud and everybody.
Wow, okay.
It's so inexcusable. But there's something about their dynamic that puts them really high on this list for me. I'm a sucker for strong duos. Jesse and James from Pokemon are a great example. When you get that chemistry that just bounces off each other. And Reno and Rude are just those two dudes who, like, they've got a little bit of the bromance going on. And, they're the guys who get sent out when shit needs to get done. Yet somehow they almost never get the job done, except for that one time. So they're kind of bumbling idiots.
Yeah. Well, I'm also, I'm with you on it a lot, especially because like I'm sure this is known to a lot of people who played FF7, but I only kind of recently discovered it in the last couple years. There's a neat bit of narrative in the actual gameplay with Reno and Rude, where, Kat, since I know you haven't played FF7, I think it's Rude, the bald one. he has a crush on Tifa.
Yes.
So whenever you're actually in like a battle with Rude, and if Tifa is in the party, he will never attack her. And it's a cute little bit of like gameplay storytelling that they added to a JRPG, where it's like he's too enamored by his crush, where it's like he won't actually like attack one of your party members, and it inadvertently gives you a leg up if you fucking realize this, because you can just stack Tifa in your party, and one of the two bosses that you're fighting will never fucking attack her, and it's kind of great.
Yeah, so it's like you've got this dynamic duo here, and they don't get talked about in this arena a whole lot because they're overshadowed by the other two antagonists of the game.
Nomura.
Yeah, Nomura and Time Ghosts.
Yeah.
They're overshadowed by Sephiroth, who, has cemented himself as one of the most iconic gaming antagonists ever, and Hojo, who is an irredeemable piece of shit. And so Reno and Rude kind of get pushed to the side in that villain capacity. I, for one, refuse to forget their war crimes. I do not so willingly accept them with open arms into the, you're part of the protagonist crew now. No, these are fucking villains. These are antagonists.
Yeah.
They are committing horrible atrocities for money, but they're doing so with style. And I have a thing for cute guys with long red hair, so Reno gets a little bonus point there.
There you go.
So Reno and Rude, the undersung heroes of Final Fantasy VII.
Nice, good choices.
Yeah,
I have next to no frame of reference, but war crimes are always a plus on the antagonist list.
War crimes that apparently can be forgiven.
Speaking of war crimes, no, I mean, kind of, I guess. So, all right, this entry on my list, probably no surprise to both of you. But I think this is probably my spiciest pick.
Okay.
Because I think that this game has a couple of different antagonists, and there is a very clear like gameplay / like mechanical antagonist, like the main guy you're fighting the whole time, right? Sure. But the one that made my list, because that one kind of boring, kind of basic. The one that made my list was the moral antagonist.
Hey.
Okay.
So my number 5 is Lord Shimura from Ghost of Tsushima.
You fucking weeb.
I know. So I loved Ghost of Tsushima. I really dug a lot of what they were doing. I think it's got its warts, it's got its rough edges, whatever you want to call it, but I loved the combat. I loved just like running around and exploring. It kind of like really revitalized open worlds for me.
Sure.
But the thing I loved the most was that I really felt like Sucker Punch finally nailed a morality system. Because for all of Infamous, right? It's been this binary, you're Mr. Super Goody Two-Shoes saving kittens from trees, or you're the fucking evil asshole kicking out, like, walkers from grannies kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? And there's really, like, they reward those two extremes with, like, extensive gameplay bonuses, but ultimately, like, you can't, like, walking the middle ground doesn't really have any benefits either in the, in terms of gameplay, in terms of mechanical advantages, but also in terms of story, because it will just say, oh, well, you were kind of a little nicer to the civilians, so I guess you're a total good guy, right? Like, the game doesn't really quite understand how to do that. But this one did. And I think this one also did something really cool, where the ending of the game is not really a decision between like good and evil. It's with it. You operate the entire game within these like moral shades of gray, where you are, like you're from a line of samurai and you're, like you've been raised to be honorable, to be, like to fight the way that, you are supposed to fight, right? Like that's just how these things are supposed to work. But now you have this enemy that's come to your island that doesn't fight that way, and they are fucking wiping you out because they know your fucking playbook, right? And so you kind of start, you start to get access to, and you start to side with more like subterfuge methods where you're killing dishonorably, you're backstabbing somebody, you're not fighting fair anymore. But it's because you can't, what ends up like, so sort of, they balance these two kind of like whether you're, completely stealthy, backstabbing, sneaking, or, fighting duels, being honorable, they kind of encapsulate these two, not really extremes, but these two kind of like opposing moralities, in, Yuna, I believe her name is, or Yuma, and your uncle, Lord Shimura. And so, throughout the game, the narrative kind of pushes you a little bit more towards the subterfuge. And specifically, there's a scene in sort of the middle where you are trying to take over a palace or something that the enemies have taken over. And you decide that the best way to do that is to sneak in and poison them. Like poison their stew, so it just like kills them all without having to ever send any of your armies in. And your uncle's just like, fuck no, we're not doing that. Like that's completely dishonorable. Like we're not like that is not how a samurai operates, right? But you fucking do it anyway. And your whole argument is that if you don't do it this way, a bunch of your people that you are sort of like tasked with protecting, a bunch of your soldiers are going to die. They're going to get killed by these enemies because they're stronger and better equipped and have like, stuff that you don't even know how to counter. So like basically throughout the story, the main con guy, I forget what his name is, because he's kind of boring. Like he's basically just like, huff huff, I'm the big bad guy. I'm a big tough, brutish guy who's just gonna fucking, I'm the irredeemable asshole that you want to kick the teeth in of, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But then you also have, like as you're trying to make the best decisions for your people, right? You have your uncle still stuck in like his old ways, right? Who's just trying to like hold you back. And I think the thing that makes him so strong as an antagonist is because he is not an antagonist, right? He is ultimately someone who thinks that the way he's trying to do things is the good way, is the right way, is the moral way. And the way that you're, Yuma, who is someone who has lived under, the Lord's rules forever, right? And she's somebody who's suffered under their rules, and therefore she's like, we have to think about everyone, right? We have to think about the people. And for the most part, the game doesn't really make a sort of like moral decision either way. But the narrative itself does kind of force you a little bit more into kind of like giving up your values, culminating with eventually you have to fight your uncle. That is the final boss of the game is a duel with him. And then it ends in this like moral choice of after you beat him, you either kill him as you would if it were an honorable duel, or you let him live because fuck the old ways, And I have seen so many interpretations of that moral choice at the end. I also saw, a lot of the criticism of like, oh, I boiled down to a binary moral choice, boo, boo, boo. But it's like, okay, except that the way you got there and the decision you make from that end up being so like different, and not in a like completely diametric way. It's just like, basically, I've had many discussions with people who have played this game specifically about what they chose at the end. And like each person has their own reasoning for why they chose it. They're like, I felt like my Jin was, now fully, like fully honorable or fully dishonorable. So he was going to spare his uncle's life. And I was like, I felt like my guy was fully dishonorable, but ultimately I wanted to like give my uncle what he wanted. And like as my last act of like, being what's it called? As my last honorable act, I would give him what he wanted and kill him. And then continue. And like I've seen so many arguments either way that I'm just like, this is such an interesting moral dilemma encapsulated in this character that I couldn't not have him on this list. So, number 5, Lord Shimura, Ghost of Tsushima.
You have no honor.
Shameful display.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I've wanted to get hands-on with Ghost of Tsushima for so long.
Yeah.
Like, there's just something about the aesthetic of it and like the environmental storytelling with the wind and knowing that it does have this really strong narrative and cast of characters behind it makes me salivate even more.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's got a lot going for it. And again, I really, really dug the combat. So I think if you maybe if you don't enjoy the combat, it might be a little bit less enjoyable for you. But yeah, I loved it so much that after I platinumed it, I did another playthrough because I wanted to play it on the hardest difficulty that they had released like literally a week after I platinumed it.
Hey.
I was just like, yeah.
That's love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah, good pick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bringing some artistic picks up into this list.
Goddamn right.
We can't get too goony with it. We gotta get some art in there.
For every Bowser Jr. there is
Well, speaking of weebs and goons and non-artistic picks.
Oh yeah, time ghosts. Let's go.
Let's go.
Daisaku Kuze from Yakuza 0. He is such a fucking shitheel, and he's so fucking charismatic, and he's so fucking cool, and you fight him like 4 or 5 times throughout the fucking game. It's very much an instance of, how many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? Sort of thing. He's not even the main antagonist, but he is like a major fucking antagonistic force throughout the entire game. That's him. He's like such a fucking badass.
Yeah.
He's a dude where when he tries to fucking kind of break Yakuza code to fuck you over, and when that gets back at him and he has to chop off his pinky to make up for it, he's just glaring at you the entire time like, this ain't over, motherfucker. And he has like one of my favorite fucking quotes of an antagonist ever. And it's right at the start of his second fight, where it just goes, I'll let you in on a little something. This Yakuza game, it's not like boxing. The man who gets beat down isn't the loser. The guy who can't tough it out to the end, he's the one who loses. Don't you think? In the Yakuza life, there's no KOs. I'll tell you what, Kiryu. To me, a finger or two don't mean shit. Having a Wano or Shibuyasu beat me to the captain spot, couldn't give a fuck. As long as I'm alive, I'll keep getting back up for more, which is why you, a half-ass like you, is the one thing I can't stand. Now die, you little shit. That's the second fucking fight, dude.
Now, for context, because Saber posted a picture of this fine gentleman in our chat room here. He looks like a middle-aged Japanese salaryman who just went to the karaoke bar to hit on the underage waitresses.
A little bit, and then he rips off his fucking suit, and he's fucking tatted up the wazoo on his chest and back, and he's ripped. He's a former fucking boxer. The second boss fight, you're trying to escape the city in the sewers, right? And all of a sudden a light starts shining in the distance. You're like, what the fuck? And it's a cinematic. And then you realize shirtless motherfucking Kuze is riding a motorcycle at you, wielding a steel pipe, about to fucking smack you with it like a fucking joust, dude.
Play
It
this
is
shit.
so fucking hardcore. His boss theme is so fucking hype. I will link it to you later, Lee. I think it's my raid theme. Just Pledge of Demon. He is so like there's a little bit of nuance and a little bit of like conflict of ideals with like old Yakuza way versus new Yakuza way, but for the most part, he is just a fun, badass shitheel of a villain who you can't wait to punch his fucking teeth in.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Love us a good shit heel, baby.
I hate this dude just looking at him. Oh, I love it.
The best part too is like that's the later Yakuza games started actually doing the whole like scanning in actual actors thing that has become very popular in the West, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like the big difference between like the celebrity casting in a lot of modern games versus like Yakuza is they intentionally cast actors who are known for like prolific careers in Yakuza movies. Like this guy has been in a shit ton of fucking Yakuza movies. Like he's kind of infamous for that. Like
that's cool.
Fucking Yakuza 6 has beat Takeshi as one of the main characters.
Yes.
Like they go hard with their choice Yakuza casting. Yeah, that's my number 5. No real intelligence behind it. He's just fucking fun, dude. He's such a
you gotta
badass.
have some villains like that. Just chewing some scenery, riding a motorcycle, shirtless in a sewer. Fuck
with a fucking like 6 foot long pipe that he's dragging on the ground as he's riding at you. It's so fucking Yakuza is so fucking cool, dude. And it's got a lot of great fucking antagonists. Some of whom are like, you know, more major antagonists, or some of whom are maybe more integral to the narrative. But Kuze is just so fucking fun, and his boss theme is so fucking hype.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's number 5.
Excellent. Awesome.
All right.
Number 4.
Number 4. Speaking of badass boss themes, you know you're in trouble.
Love these segues.
You know you're in trouble when you walk into a boss arena and the music starts and it's the title music.
Oh no. Yep.
That's when you go, oh no, I'm fucked, aren't I?
Yeah.
Oh no, I know who this is.
On the topic of which Elden Ring guy is on Lee's list, my pick is Radagon the Red.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Okay. Listen, of all of the potential Elden Ring like antagonists you could have picked, I think he's the best one. But let's hear you out on Radagon checks so many boxes for me, like personally. That okay, where do I start? Storyline wise, I like that he makes perfect sense as the final boss. If you've, kept up with the lore and the items and everything, like Elden Ring, much like the other Soulsborne games, doesn't spoon feed you plot and everything. You've got to kind of figure it out as you go, and you get out of it however much you want to delve into it. And yet still, I was even talking with the two of you as I was playing Elden Ring the first time, where I was nearing the end of the game, and I said, okay, I see like 4 possible people who could be the final boss of this game. And then little did I know, I would have to fight all 4 of them in a gauntlet because 2 of them are technically the same person. Yes, correct.
Now, shout out to Gideon. I do love my boy Gideon. Find the Albinaric woman. I feel you, man. But you monologue so long that I can just body you before you start casting spells. Fucking Randy Savage as the second boss in the gauntlet. Fantastic. Radagon the Red. He does something that I really like with boss battles, which is, again, it's the little things. I like a boss who just takes his time walking towards you.
Yeah.
Because you know it is absolute trouble when that distance gets closed. So for I guess I should have maybe prefaced, since Elden Ring is, a newer game, I should have said spoilers, but wait, sorry. Okay,
yeah,
Radagon's
sorry.
the boss of the game.
Sorry, y'all.
and Radagon and Queen Marika are technically the same person,
Yes.
but they're not, because they have separate wills. But that's when you start to dig into the meat and potatoes of this whole fucking lore thing, which isn't even fully explained yet. And maybe the DLC will explain it, but I don't think it will. So Radagon was the commander of the forces of the capital of Leyndell. They went to war with the Mages Academy of Raya Lucaria, failed, and Radagon's like, "Hey, I may have failed, but your queen, she's pretty spicy. Chemistry." Marries her, has some demigod children, and then the Elden Lord Godfrey just got exiled from the kingdom. I guess I can just move back home to the capital and marry the queen, who is also technically myself, because reasons.
So I have an absolutely fantastic meme that breaks this down perfectly.
I know exactly which one.
I've sent it many times in the chat, but it's the like you versus like the guy she told you not to worry about, and it's an entire breakdown of Marika and Radagon, and it goes through like basically their whole lineage, and then circles back around to like
to just you,
just like you, also you.
And when you dig into the little technicalities and the little tidbits of the plot, it does get really interesting when you realize they have separate wills, because Marika and Radagon have different goals.
Right.
Marika wanted to shatter the Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And that means to compromise the Golden Order, which is the embodiment of their god, the Greater Will. And Radagon's like, nah, I like that Golden Order thing. And so there's some cool duality getting played with there. You're not even exactly sure what's going on, even when you read all the information. And then it doesn't fucking matter when you get to that boss arena and the theme song of the game starts playing. And this 9-foot-tall Greek god ripped Adonis starts throwing lightning bolts at you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's such an imposing boss fight that isn't tarnished by a second boss that follows him. I have no idea what you're talking about. Radagon, and then the game ends.
You see, Lee, this is actually exactly why he didn't make my list, because I was like, technically, he is like the precursor to the true final boss, which is a huge fucking letdown.
which is an actual space alien.
Yes.
A cum dragon, if you will.
Our big space whale boy.
So there's a thing I like about him, which is he's always kind of like wrestling for control of the body that he shares with Marika. And like in the opening sequence of the game, you don't have context until later, but you see Marika shattering the Elden Ring, and then there's like a flash, and then you see Radagon smashing the anvil again. You find out he's actually trying to reforge the ring, but can't. So she's already fucked up, and he's trying to fix it.
Yeah.
And the Greater Will, their god, is like, no, you broke the Elden Ring. You fucked up. So we're banishing you, Marika, to the tree, which also means we're banishing you, Radagon. Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. That's just them breaks. And so then you, as the tarnished,
your husband, your wife, also you.
And so you as the tarnished fight your way to claim the title of Elden Lord. You get to the Erd Tree, and Marika breaks free from her shackles, and Marika would probably be totally cool with the tarnished, like, ending things as they know it.
Yeah.
But Radagon wrestles control back one more time, grabs the hammer that broke the Elden Ring, and goes, all right, this is I gotta do one last thing. And then a space alien doesn't show up to ruin everything. I said, yeah.
I think it's a really good pick, Lee.
It's a little bit of recency bias.
Yeah, sure.
But again, fine. It checks a lot of boxes for me that are very personal.
Yes.
Like aesthetics, love him.
No, he's aesthetically he's fantastic. I think
Yeah.
for me, the big reason, because I think where he checks a lot of boxes for you, he checks a lot of boxes in the like not interesting for me, in that he's mostly silent. You find out most of the lore about him through like exposition, basically.
Right.
And I'm just kind of like, I don't ever actually. He is always a sort of force in the background, but it's not in the. And I think this is just probably my issue with how Soulsborne games deliver their narrative in general, where it's like, cool, I like that I like that it's not spoon-fed to me, but also reading text boxes is probably one of the least interesting ways you could possibly deliver a narrative. Like being like, oh, this is the blade of so-and-so, and I'm just like, I'm already like, okay, cool. I'm glad I got to, it's just like, it's not my style.
No, that totally understandable.
Yeah,
totally
but
understandable.
like hearing you kind of like retell the lore is very much like, yeah, it's cool fucking lore. It's cool as shit.
Yeah.
And he's also a little bit of like a petty asshole too, because he has a signature weapon that he doesn't even wield it. In the game, there's the Golden Order Greatsword, which is this big shining sword of light. And then reading into the lore of the weapons, when he married Queen Ranala of the Academy, the Carians always gift a moonlight sword as a wedding present, which is why if you wed Rani, you're given a greatsword.
Hell yeah, you are.
Queen Ranala gave a moonlight sword to Radagon, who then said, hey, this is cool, but I think it'd be a lot cooler if I did this to it, and then fucks it up and makes it a Golden Order sword. It's just like, you are such a petty little shit.
Yeah.
I love you.
Oh, that's great.
Never shame the fucking moonlight swords. God damn it, they're fucking badass.
They are
pretty badass.
No, that's why every playthrough I will gladly bend the knee and serve my puppet goddess.
Moon Queen? Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. The only other, for my character in particular, I was like, yeah, Moon Goddess, perfect, because he was all sorcery and magic. Any other character I really want to three fingers it someday. Someday I will.
But yeah, and then last and most important, just like with Reno, hey, I like pretty boys with long red hair. So back on the red.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, there you go. Listen.
Are there just the remainder?
Okay,
we all have our types.
I really hope that the remainder of Lee's list is just pretty boys with long red hair.
Pretty boys with long red hair.
Well, it's better than the initial version of the list I made, which was just 10 Xehanorts.
I would have just stopped recording.
At like number 9 when it's another one.
Yeah. All right, number 9 on my list, Lee.
Good night, everybody.
This is another Xehanort, is it?
Shortest podcast ever.
All right. Speaking of all of our types, I don't think he needs much of an introduction. It's Wesker.
Hey, my number
Wesker
8.
is my number 4.
My number
8.
nothing, but I do love Wesker.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, you had to make room for Irving. We know.
I told you, there's not a single Resident Evil character on my list.
We know.
If it was gonna be one, it'd be Booba Tyrant.
We know. All right.
Yeah, you take the lead on this because you've got him higher. I'll just say he was my number 8.
Nice.
I almost did Carl Heisenberg instead.
Heisenberg would be good.
I get that. I understand that for you, absolutely, Lee.
Almost did Heisenberg. But yeah, why don't you take us away on
Heisenberg
Wesker?
as his Discord profile picture for like months.
Yeah,
it was a while.
Heisenberg's so good. I just hate his fucking boss fight.
His boss fight is awful.
That's actually the thing that stopped me from picking him.
Yep. Whereas Wesker
has a great
nothing but awesome boss fights.
Yeah, he does.
He's such a shitheel. Like, I really don't think we even need to talk about him that much. Like, we just fucking move on to the next person because I'm just like
deliciously evil and loves it.
He loves the Olive Garden.
He loves the olive. No, he's just wonderful. He's he's completely campy and over the top and just and it's just like I love you, never stop. Like,
He needs a little mustache to twirl.
yes.
No matter the incarnation, no matter the voice, no matter the game, he is so much fucking fun. Even when he's a stupid fucking nerd in RE1 on PS1, it's just Chris.
He's so
stop
fun.
it.
Stop laughing at me, Chris.
Chris, stop it. Sorry,
It's
I'm
not
not used to
funny.
escorting men. He's just such a shitheel.
Absolutely.
And he
He's
fucking wears his sunglasses at 2 o'clock in the morning and fucking indoors.
Absolutely.
Asshole.
Yeah, he pulls off the Matrix trench coat aesthetic.
Yeah.
But like he stays
he's
cool.
White Blade, as we learned.
He's White Blade, yes.
But yeah, just like he's cool. He's an absolute bananas villain. He just like again, just he needs no further explanation. He's Albert Wesker.
Yeah, for real. It's like we could list his accolades, and it's like there really isn't like a
like how many villains do you fucking defeat by blowing their head off with a rocket launcher in an active volcano?
Yeah.
Like that alone should be like, oh, he's like he's top tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah,
he's great.
Absolutely.
Well,
I got nothing more to add.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add either, but speaking of asshole villains who are bananas, my number 4 is higher on somebody else's list.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh,
okay. All
interesting.
right. Cool.
All right. Number 3. We're in the top 3 now.
Okay, yeah.
All right, who's ready for some more Nomura?
All right, good night, everybody. That's the end of the stream.
So, back before Kingdom Hearts got really unhinged. This one I need
like
to
the first game, Lee.
I have a gigantic asterisk on this one.
Okay.
And I fully admit that there's a gigantic asterisk on this one, and this is the number 3 on my list, looking purely at the game he debuts in. If you take Kingdom Hearts 1 as an isolated experience, Ansem is fucking incredible.
I can, as somebody who hates the franchise, I can 100% agree with you on that.
First,
Kingdom Hearts 1, he's great.
He's Billy Zane, first of all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
He's Billy Zane. As an isolated thing, Ansem, and I only realized this after replaying the game when I streamed it last, like a year and a half ago, however long ago that was. Mm-hmm. I realized that so much of my my work as a DM stemmed from how much I like Ansem, because I have a gigantic affinity for main antagonist who kind of just shows up in the 3rd act, but you have to have been paying attention. Like, Ansem can kind of just come out of nowhere if you're not really paying attention to the story beats. If you're paying attention to the beats, if you're just going through the game, it's like, okay, final boss is going to be either Maleficent or Riku. And then if you're reading the Ansem reports and you're listening to some of the weird cryptic shit going on with the side characters, they keep talking about this guy who is really into researching the darkness and like experimenting on human hearts. And it's like, wow, I sure hope I never run into that guy. Oh no, he's hot and he's Billy Zane.
Oh no, he's hot.
And so Ansem shows up, and okay, he's so full of himself. He's got the long silver Nomura hair. He's always floating around with his arms crossed because walking is just beneath him.
Yeah.
And he's got a stand. Okay?
Oh my god.
His weapon of choice is a stand. And the one piece of credit I have to give to the extended material that does make him better is the knowledge that his guardian Heartless that's bound to him, who's his protector, is actually one of the 3 characters that you play as in the prequel, Birth by Sleep. who he got his ass kicked, and he was kind of like, he lost his heart to the darkness and was bound into servitude, and now has to fight for Ansem.
Oh no!
Which is so great. And there's a piece of fan art I found that's great of like Ansem being all like cocky and yucking it up, and then behind him, instead of the Heartless, is that character like in bondage with like wrappings over his mouth, and it's a sick piece of fan art.
Cool.
So Ansem shows up out of nowhere in the third act and is just deliciously evil. He is all about, I'm gonna find Kingdom Hearts, which my research has shown is the heart of all darkness, and I'm gonna get souped up on that dark energy, and I'm gonna turn into Galactus and just like start eating worlds. And it's like, okay, yeah, you're a Final Fantasy villain. You came out of nowhere. I gotta deal with you.
Yeah.
Very, very good boss fight. It's a good classic, like JRPG format of oops, all phases. He's got like 8 phases.
Yeah.
And like 4 of them are ad gauntlets, and like 1 of them's a dungeon. And then he turns into a boat, which is surprisingly enough a recurring theme in the Kingdom Hearts franchise.
God damn you, Nomura.
Okay, Lee, you started this explanation by saying before Kingdom Hearts got nuts, and then you talked about a guy turning into a boat.
Now listen, he's a really cool boat.
That doesn't make it better.
He's a boat with abs, okay? And just something about he was the earliest example to me of like reading the lore paying off. Like it wasn't a necessary thing like Radagon, where like Radagon shows up. If you didn't read the lore, you're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Oh yeah.
Ansem shows up.
Also, if you didn't find the like, there's a quest line where you have to like follow a dude around, and eventually it leads you to finding out like literally a single line that's Radagon is America or whatever.
Yes.
And it's just like, wow, fuck off, game.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, the final boss, like, she comes down and turns into a dude, and you're just like, what's happening here?
Yeah, I don't understand, and I feel like I should. When Ansem shows up, it's just like, oh, I think I know who this guy is. Okay. And again, like, I have to keep it as an isolated thing, because as the games progress, they start to muddle, who this character is, and he's like, he's a fragment of Xehanort, who's this fucking dick who can just please disappear from the franchise. Who I think going forward, I think they're not revisiting him anymore because his arc is finished.
I will believe it when I see it.
They had a very good thing going with this character, and they just fucked it up the more they kept expanding on it and not being content with what they had. As an isolated villain in just Kingdom Hearts 1, Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness, kicks supreme ass.
Yeah. He looks like
my number 3.
Ass. Love it.
He's lovely. And he's
Beautiful.
Billy Zane. He's Billy Zane!
Speaking of characters that other people made fun of for being on lists or before we started listing them.
Yeah, there we go.
My number 3 is GLaDOS.
Hey, that's my number 4.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah. First of all, I noticed that most of my list was men. And I got a little bummed out, and I was just like, there's got to be some good female villains out there. There are female antagonists out there that I enjoyed, right? And as I was thinking more about that, I was just like, oh, fuck. It's got to be GLaDOS. Like, she's awesome. Yeah. Right? Like, there's a reason she comes up. She's recurring on, like, so many people's just, like, top villains of all time lists.
She's fucking petty.
She's great, right? She's petty as shit. She's
Shodan's bratty little sister, effectively.
Yes.
And like,
basically.
I really want to go through the System Shock games because I know Shodan is a great fucking villain. Spoilers, she's not on my list because I haven't played them. So like, even though I know of her and I know what she's capable of, I didn't want to put her there. But GLaDOS is basically like like as Cal says, Shodan's bratty little sister. She
Yeah.
is such a petty little shit, and I love her.
Yep. She's wonderful. And like, yes, Portal 2, you kind of partner up a little bit more with her, but like it's not a partnership of like it's a partnership of necessity.
Yeah.
She has not become a good AI.
No, she's still
like,
evil.
Yeah, she's still evil as fuck. And then at the end she's just like, well, you helped me get my body back, so I guess I'll let you go. But like,
she just doesn't want to deal with you anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
She
I
just
don't
throws
want to
you
let
away.
you go. I just hate you, so leave. And then she sings you out.
Yeah, my favorite bit is still how she keeps fucking making adoption jokes because she's such a fucking brat. And then at one point she's like, "Oh, I found the number of your birth parents. Let's give them a call." And then like you hear a phone number beep, and then you get a fucking answering machine message that just goes, "The birth parents you are trying to reach do not love you. Please hang up. Goodbye." And then GLaDOS just goes, "Wow, that's surprising. Maybe somebody works at the phone company." Or something like that. And it's just like, GLaDOS, you fucking bitch.
Yeah.
She's
She's
fucking petty and funny.
She's wonderful. Yeah, she's just like she has so many like quips and just like snarky remarks. And she's not necessarily somebody you want to like beat up at the end, but she's definitely somebody where you're like, you are really into making me hate you.
Yeah. She is such a little unapologetic shit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she's great for that. Like everything she says,
her sarcasm is just on point. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I still remember the very first time I was playing Portal, right? And I'm sitting there playing it in my room, and I'm sitting there, chuckling the entire time. And then I hear my mom in the other room laughing. And I get up to go get like a drink or something, and she goes, "Whatever the hell you're playing is one of the funniest things I've ever heard."
Aww.
She had no context for anything, but just hearing GLaDOS is enough to get like anybody to fucking laugh for the most part, because she is just such a petty little shit.
She is probably, as far as my list, the best written villain. Like in terms of the dialogue that is written for her, I think she's the best written. Yeah.
Very cool.
I am a potato.
Speaking of best written villains.
Oh no, okay.
My segue
is... I think I know who it's going to be.
Yeah, you might. We talked about it when we had Ghoul Guts on. Kain from Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver.
Oh yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
He is
Ghoul Guts is going to be so happy.
Such a well-written fucking antagonist.
Yeah.
Like, he starts as an anti-hero in Bloodborne, or Blood Omen, and he's a full-on antagonist in Soul Reaver. Like,
hell yeah.
For context of the setup, like, at the end of Blood Omen, your character is given a choice. There's the good choice and the bad choice. The good choice is you kill yourself because you're the Scion of Balance, and it'll restore the Pillar of Balance, and the world can enter in a new golden age. Or you could do the evil option where you're just like, fuck all that, I'm gonna just be a tyrannical despot and fucking rule the world. And that evil ending is the canon ending. And in Soul Reaver, it picks up 1,000 years later with Kain running this post-apocalyptic fucking wasteland as this vampire king. And in terms of like, at least at the time, what appears to be petty bullshit, you play as Raziel, who is he's the first of his vampire lieutenants, and you show up at basically the little vampire hoedown or whatever, and you showcase, hey, I got a new gift.
Sorry.
It's a little vampire
hoedown.
Yeah, it's basically like a meeting of all the vampires and whatnot. Kane's sitting there and his generals and shit like that, and Raziel shows up, and he's got a new gift. He's evolved. He's grown wings. He's the only vampire with wings. And Kain just walks behind you and is examining them, and in a single swoop rips the bones out of your wings, and then casts you into a fucking lake, and you burn to death.
Hell
then you wake up like 1,000 years later as basically like a lich or a wraith or fucking whatever, like this super undead vampire, and your whole thing is, I fucking want revenge on this goddamn asshole who ripped out the bones of my wings because he didn't fucking grow wings. And as
do you have just like floppy wing skin the entire game?
Yeah.
It's your cape.
It's your cape.
Amazing.
And you can use the skin of your boneless wings to glide. It's so fucking good.
A boneless grief clown.
But then as you like progress through the game, you get the sense that Kane wasn't being a petty little shit. It's expanded upon more in the later games, but I'm strictly focusing on this one game. But like there's a really good example where in the first boss fight with Kane pulls out the titular Soul Reaver, which is like the most powerful fucking sword in this universe, right? And at the end of the boss fight, cinematic triggers, Kane has you on your last legs, and he swings it at you to deal the killing blow. And whenever Kane pulls out this sword, it basically means you're dead. But when the sword strikes you, it shatters completely, inexplicably. And Kane is not surprised by this in the slightest, and he just smirks and he disappears. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Kane, like, it's some big-ass fucking Machiavellian plan that Kane is doing. And you don't get all the fucking answers in the first game, or in Soul Reaver, just due to development issues, because the game it had a really rocky development cycle, and like the last third of the game had to be cut in order to get it out on time. So it ends on this massive fucking cliffhanger to be continued ending. But it kind of worked out for the best, at least in terms of like the franchise, because we got a far more interesting and compelling narrative. But Kane is so expertly fucking written, like Shakespearean, and Simon Templeman, his voice actor, fucking kills it. He just sounds evil and menacing, and that he's enjoying being evil and menacing.
Excellent.
It's so fucking good. And I will die on the hill that Final Fantasy VIII and Soul Reaver have the single two best opening cinematics, not only on the PS1, but possibly in the history of video games. They're so fucking good. And they look leagues above the hardware capabilities of like the platforms that they're on. I'll send you the link of if you're interested, Kat, of the opening cinematic where Kane rips out the fucking bones of your wings. And it's fucking sweet. And Kane doesn't have like a single line of dialogue in the opening cinematic until like towards the end of it, where your vampire brethren have just dragged you to the lake, and Kane kind of looks down into the lake, and he then walks away, and then he just goes, "Cast him in," and they just chuck you into this fucking lake where you just burn up.
Awesome.
It's wonderful. Awesome. He is such a fucking malevolent asshole.
Great.
It's great. It's great.
I'm looking through some of his dialogue right now, just because like I gushed about it last time we talked about Kane, and God, his monologues are just so good.
Yeah.
They really are. Like, again, I don't want to get too much into like the later games, but like even in, like. While my favorite line or monologue from him stems from Soul Reaver 2, it's the fucking coin monologue where he's talking about like the choice he had to make in Blood Omen between like killing himself or fucking ruling as a tyrannical despot. His monologues in Soul Reaver 1 are still just absolutely phenomenal. And even though like you don't see him much in the game, you only get him in like the opening cinematic, and then in like both boss fights, the first boss fight with him and the final boss fight. He is your entire focus, because the whole focus of that fucking game is Raziel was killed, and he's brought back as a wraith, and he wants fucking revenge, and he wants to kill the man who threw him into this fucking lake. And Kane is just such a great love-to-hate villain. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my number. That's my number 3.
All right,
excellent choice.
A good showing for bronze. Let's get on to silver.
All right. So there was this period of time from the mid to late 90s to the late 2000s where Blizzard Entertainment was a champion of storytelling.
Oh, okay.
Classic stories of good and evil, enduring characters like James Raynor and War Chief Thrall and Diablo. And while the stories were simple on the surface, they possessed a certain charm that was undeniable. And my boy is a wonderful douchebag from StarCraft.
Oh, okay.
My man, Judicator Aldaris. He is a ruling member of the Protoss's like primary religious movement.
Okay.
And when you're playing the Protoss campaign in the first game, he is the guy overseeing you. You know, the famous "you must construct additional pylons" line, that's Aldaris yelling at you.
Mm.
Everything you do in the Protoss campaign is kind of overseen by him until the point that you start to work with the Terrans, with the humans. And that's when it winds up being the biggest xenophobe of anybody. And he's like, "Oh, no, we don't mingle with those, with those human folk. That's no good. We got to stick to our own kind." And at that point, it all turns on its head, and you betray that religious caste, and you make him an antagonist. And he is just such a wonderful example of like a head up his own ass religious zealot archetype, which I think can be played in some very tiresome ways and can really be wrung out dry, and we're just kind of tired of it. But Aldaris did it in such a way and with such a flourish that you can see kind of where he's coming from, because in the Protoss mythos, their connection to their higher power, to their god, literally gives them their power. So he's like, "No, we have to stay by our code and keep worshiping, the Kala, because if we don't, then we lose all of our like energy powers, and then the Zerg are gonna overtake us and eat our planet." So it's like, okay, I can kind of see where you're coming from, but you're being a really staunch religious dick about everything. And he winds up, he survives the first game. He just talks mad shit to you. You kill the Zerg Overmind, and like their greatest hero Tassadar has to sacrifice himself, and Aldaris is still just kind of sitting there on the sidelines, nodding his head, like, I mean, yeah, you beat the Zerg and all, but still, like, you should have done it my way. And sequel rolls around, Brood War, and he becomes a relenting accomplice to a scheme going on where you form a triumvirate. It's you playing as the character Artanis, who's an up and coming Protoss warrior, and you team up with a begrudging Aldaris and with the Zerg Queen of Blades, Kerrigan. Whoever would think that a massive betrayal is coming when there's a scheme woven to make it seem like Aldaris is at the heart of some plan, and you get to him and you kick down the door to his throne room, and he's like, "I literally didn't do anything, and all you did was clear the way through his defenses so that now Kerrigan could murder him." So he's almost like edging on the point of like, oh, are they going to try to push like a redemption arc with him? But at the same time, he's also past that point of like, his character didn't need one and didn't want one. He was unflinching in his ideals, which were always putting his people first. But by doing that, he's kind of damning everything else. And there's a whole lot of damning you can do when you command a fleet that can like glass a planet's surface, which he is wont to do at times. Again, a character like kind of along the same lines as Kane, of like just very strong writing. And Aldaris is just such a strong representative of what storytelling Blizzard used to have. Because I remember those golden years. I was the Blizzard fanboy. And it was oh so beautiful in that time.
In the before time, in the long
In
ago.
before times.
Before
Yeah,
endless
before the Fire
microtransactions and Rule 34.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
yeah,
there's
you
still
know,
this,
it's a great representation of, you know, an archetype that I like. You know, I like a good religious zealot character. You know, Frollo
Yeah.
is my favorite Disney villain for a reason.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think he was done very well. He had believable motives. And I just kind of like the fact that he's there totally as an exposition character. You don't ever have to fight him. He never directly steps in your path to confront you exactly. He's just there kind of like being that nagging thing on your shoulder, reminding you like, that thing you're going to do, it's blasphemous and possibly a war crime. And you go, Alder, shut up. You're committing war crimes all the time. And he's like, yeah, but they're in the name of God.
God damn it.
Which makes it okay. So yeah, my boy Judicator Alder is coming in at number 2.
Cool.
Nice. Very nice. Okay. My number 2. He's going to be really hard to talk about without massive spoilers because the reason I like him so much is a massive spoiler.
Okay.
But I will talk about it. Also, this sort of bends a couple of my rules. But bends, not breaks. So, as both of you know, and probably the podcast people know at this point too, our viewers might know, I'm a big fan of Sucker Punch as a studio, because I initially fell in love with their Infamous series. Even though I have a lot of issues, I take a lot of issues with the games themselves. I think that the binary moral choice stuff is really dumb. I think there's a lot of things I think that they didn't do well. I think they did so many things so well that they just like won themselves a fan for life, basically. And so the first Infamous game, this game starts with the protagonist, Cole McGrath. He's like a delivery guy, and he's set to like take a package across town, and that package turns out to not be on the up and up. It explodes, and it gives you superpowers. So Cole gets the ability to control lightning, and also I think he's got some sort of like telepathic sort of like he can like see people's pasts or see people's like basically if he touches you, he can kind of like get your story. It's mostly a narrative device. It's and so that the explosion that gives you powers also like basically like sets the city into almost like post-apocalyptic mode, right? Like it's absolute you playing in a fake New York. I forget what it's called, like Empire City or something. Like everything is like in chaos, and essentially like you're kind of like encouraged by sort of your best friend Zeke and also your girlfriend Trish to sort of like, hey, you've got these powers, you should help people, right? Like you should help people out. And as you're sort of setting about like learning how to be a superhero, slowly you start to uncover the machinations of a puppet master. And that puppet master is a guy called Kessler. And Kessler, as it turns out, as you continue to sort of like unfurl the threads of like what he's up to, he's been behind a lot of the stuff that's been happening. So he's the reason you have this package. He's the reason, like package exploded. He's been like doing experiments on stuff. He's been making other quote unquote conduits. That's what they call the superheroes. They're people with powers, I should say. So he's been making other conduits. He's been doing all this stuff. And slowly but surely he reveals just how much of a villain he is, right? He's constantly throwing things at you to like, get in your way to like try to kill you, to try to like, do all this stuff. And eventually, he ends up kidnapping he kidnaps your best friend. He's basically like unapologetically opposed to you and villainous and horrible. And he eventually ends up kidnapping your girlfriend, who, this is one of the things I actually have a problem with this game. She's not set up very well. She's not written very well. She's kind of always the sort of like, she's always nagging Cole. Mm-hmm. And really, she should be set up much more sympathetically as like, you know, somebody we actually care about and we want to, you know, like someone we actually love. I think it's just down to like poor writing for her, like in terms of like, because ultimately I think their relationship is fine. It's just kind of like you see it in this very limited scope of a horrible disaster just happened, and Trish is I believe she's like a triage doctor or like a paramedic or something like that. So she's very much like, we have to help people. And she kind of just becomes very like, we have to help people. Cole, you better be helping people, you know. Anyway. But he kidnaps her, and, in one such mission that you're running to try to, like, stop him from doing something, he ends up stringing her up, basically, like, there's two groups. There's Trish, and then there's a group of, like, 6 doctors that are, like, hanging up, like, you know, at, like, you know, fatal fall height. And basically it's like, Cole, you can save one of these groups. You either save your girlfriend or you save these doctors. Like, and you have to choose. And so, actually, regardless of which you choose, the game kind of pulls a bit of a fast one on you, because regardless of which one you choose, if you choose to save Trish, he actually put Trish with the doctors. And so when he kills the doctors, he kills Trish. And then if you choose to save the doctors, then the singular person was Trish and she dies. So either way, your girlfriend dies. And yeah, and essentially that's like one of the big, you know, sort of the big turning point of like, I have to kill this guy now, right? And you spend the rest of the game, you know, like you know, after all the all the fallout. There's a ton of this game, and I'm gonna skip over most of it. But basically, they keep building Kessler up and up and up and up and up until finally you have this like final boss fight confrontation with him, and it is a fucking epic fight because Kessler is also a conduit. He's got powers. He's got insane powers. It looks like teleportation. You know, like a couple of other like weird things, right? And as you're fighting him and like wearing him down and defeating him, he's actually giving you glimpses into like his own life and like what he was doing, right? So like you touch people and you see their lives, and he's allowing that to happen like at the different stages of his boss fight. Until you get to the end and he reveals like the full extent of his backstory, which is that Kessler is Cole McGrath.
God.
Yep.
Yeah.
So essentially, what in an alternate timeline, Cole married Trish, and they had 2 daughters. And this happened long before he got his powers, but then eventually he did get his powers, right? He got his powers from the same thing that gave him his powers here, right? And when he got his powers, the explosion also activated this extremely powerful conduit called the Beast. And the Beast is like an apocalyptic event. Like the Beast was activated and the Beast just like destroyed the world. And Cole in this timeline, because he had Trish, because he had his daughters, he didn't stand up against the Beast. He didn't try to fight the Beast. He ran. And because he ran, his family got killed, everyone he knew got killed, and basically the world ended, essentially. So, in his grief, he figures out how to time travel, and he goes back in time and decides, I'm going to do this on my timeline. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to save the world by essentially sacrificing my entire life. I will sacrifice my own wife and my future children just so I have the chance to save everyone else. And so the entire time he's acting as the villain, like pulling all the strings, he's actually working on getting you your powers early so he can train you to fight the Beast, who does show up in the second game.
That's pretty fucking cool.
It's fucking awesome. Like, that reveal, like, I thought he was a fun villain the entire time. But that reveal was just one of the like I cried. I was like, this is so beautiful. Because like, it's I feel like it's very common to have villains that are tragic. I feel like it's very common to have antagonists that like think they're in the right. But I think it's kind of a rare thing to like make yourself the villain to save everything else, right? Like you essentially are like, I'm going to make myself the villain so I can make a different me the hero. And I was just
love when a time travel villain is pulled off perfectly.
Yes,
because it's attempted a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yes. But I think this one works so well because you don't get it until you're literally killing him. Because literally, I think his final line is saying like, "Trish, I always loved you," and you're just like, "Wait, excuse me, hold on."
Oh, that's so good.
It's like, yeah, it's beautiful and like, yeah, it's a great reveal. I think it's pulled off really well, and yeah, and then like, the Beast is also really cool. Like, the second game has the Beast as more of a, like, I'm going to kill everyone except conduits, and there's kind of like this moral dilemma there. He's a cool villain, but the Kessler thing was like what sold me on the Sucker Punch Studio as like, yeah, okay, they know what they're doing. I love these games.
Yep.
So Kessler's my Kessler's my silver. Kessler's my second place.
That's awesome. I want to throw out a quick shout out to a video on YouTube by a content creator named Plague of Gripes. He's an associate of my boy's Castle Super Beast, who does a great video about villains called Let's Gripe About Villains. And he highlights a character from a cartoon called Wok Fu. And the villain is this guy named Nox, who's, like I was saying, like it's hard to pull off a good time travel villain.
Oh, yeah.
This dude's gimmick is so good, and Kessler's making me think of it, of like time travel villain. He's doing all these horrible things, all these inexcusable things, and he winds up being one of those guys who's trying to use time travel to fix the world because of all these errors. And he's within like arm's reach of the MacGuffin that'll let him turn back time and fix all these problems. And he bodies all the main characters of the show, like kills several of them.
Oh, geez.
And it's one of those like all hope is lost moments of like, wow, the bad guy won. And then he gets to the MacGuffin and he successfully turns back time 20 minutes.
Oh my god.
To undo the fight.
Uh-huh.
And he realized that he has done all these inexcusable things to get the chance to turn back time, and all it could do was send him back 20 minutes. And he caves under the weight of all the atrocities he's committed that he can't take back, because he had been telling himself, this is all for the greater good. I'm gonna undo it all. It all. I'm still a hero.
Oh, man.
And all he can do is go back enough to bring back the cast. And then he exiles himself. He just says, I'm done.
That's cool.
Like, that is so fucking cool. That's Kessler is making me think of that. Like, I love when that story trope can be pulled off like effectively.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, man.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, time travel. Yeah, do you dig on multiverses?
Yeah. Oh god. All right. No.
So speaking of tragic villains, tragic antagonists, my silver, it's not from the game he debuts in. It's from another entry in the franchise. And that is Virgil from Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening.
There he is.
He is.
I knew he was coming. I knew he was coming.
He's coming. Yeah, he is one of, if not the best rival character. He parallels Dante almost perfectly. While Dante is kind of like this goofy, silly attitude, Virgil is completely dead serious. Dante wields a giant fuck-off sword. Virgil wields a katana, while Dante is like over the top with his combat style. Virgil's very methodical. Dante's color is red. Virgil's color is blue. Virgil is Dante's twin brother. The whole motive, no pun intended, despite Virgil doing the whole motivation shit, his whole reasoning for what he is back when he and Dante were children. Demons attacked the household that he and his brother and his mother were in. His father is disappeared, presumed dead by this point, but his father is like this famous demon named Sparta. And in the chaos and confusion of everything, their mother is killed. And while Dante uses this as basically a means to hate demons and want to basically eradicate everything demon-related, Virgil more so hates how weak he felt, despite the fact that he was like a 6-7-year-old or whatever. He hated the fact that he couldn't protect his mother. So his whole goal is to get power so he never has to feel that weak ever again. And it doesn't matter who gets in his way. Doesn't matter if it's Dante. Doesn't matter who it is. And he is such a strong and compelling rival character that just perfectly hits all 3 major acts. You fight him 3 times throughout Devil May Cry 3 at the end of each act. And each boss fight, he gains, like, not only is he like an intimidating rival for you because he's your twin brother, he can match everything. Every single time you fight him, he gets a new weapon that he incorporates into his toolkit. So it's not just, oh, the boss is now arbitrarily pulling off moves that he didn't have before. No, there's like a narrative fucking explanation for it. He gets new weaponry that you could have potentially gotten, but you got instead. And it makes it that much more difficult and challenging to fight. He is basically perfectly encapsulates like the whole ludonarrative consistency in video games, where like the difficulty of his combat encounters, with the final boss fight being one of the most difficult boss fights in gaming, especially on harder difficulties. It kind of encapsulates everything about the ending of that particular game. He is very much a reoccurring character. He's first introduced in Devil May Cry 1 as sort of this mindless undead minion of the big bad antagonist, but doesn't really have much character there, so nobody really counts that. But basically, everything that has defined the character stems from Devil May Cry 3. And he is so iconic and menacing and badass. And he's also an unapologetic shitheel who does countless horrible fucking things in the quest for power, just so he doesn't feel weak again. And one of my favorite things, too, about that narrative as well is the fact that Dante coming into contact with Virgil, at least initially, doesn't stem from the fact that Virgil is doing all this heinous shit. Doesn't stem from the fact that Virgil is attacking the city that Dante's in. No, it just stems from the fact that Dante doesn't like Virgil. He is a petty asshole. And Virgil doesn't like Dante. They just fucking do not like each other.
And that's enough of a reason.
Yeah, and that is enough of a reason for him to go like, yeah, I'm gonna go stop you just because I don't fucking like you. And it's a fun dynamic. And it evolves throughout the franchise, and there's some fun shit in the later entries, sure. But in terms of just an overall antagonist, it's fucking Devil May Cry 3.
Nice.
I had a feeling Virgil would appear on your list, but I like hearing you really like dig into the meat and potatoes of why you love him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just so fun and evil.
You're extremely predictable, Jam, but we love you.
What do you want from me, man? I like it when a villain is a shitheel and they got great boss fights.
But listen, like I knew he was gonna be on here, even
Sure.
though I remember us talking about like, oh, but you play as him technically, and you were just like, I don't care.
You
I was like, all right.
play as him in a re-release special edition
I knew
doesn't
he was
impact
coming.
the main
I
narrative.
knew he was coming.
Doesn't impact the main narrative. He's only a special. He never has his own unique fucking campaign. God damn it! In original vanilla Dante's Awakening, he is not playable.
Okay, fair enough.
Hell yeah!
And we gotta closing out the lists.
Yeah.
Rounding them out. Our first place picks.
Also, I called 9 Ball, but you know.
Yeah, you did.
Well,
call
that
9
one
Ball.
we knew that was coming.
Yeah.
All right. Number one. So,
if it's Xehanort,
this,
I swear to God.
There was this period of time from the mid to late 90s to the late 2000s where Blizzard Entertainment was a champion of storytelling. Classic stories of good and evil, enduring characters like James Raynor, War Chief Thrall, and Diablo. And while the stories were simple on the surface, possessed a certain charm that was undeniable.
I am more mad because I had this exact same gag planned for our horror list.
God damn it.
So you're going to get to hear this gag again.
No.
But from me.
I hate all of you.
I want to tell the story of the greatest fallen angel, the greatest fall from grace story I've ever seen in gaming. Arthas Menethil, the Lich King from Warcraft.
Oh, okay.
So, a little bit of a controversial pick, maybe because we play as Arthas when he is still human. And while he is still human at this point, he is immediately doing things that very much go against the book, that go against basic human rights. He is a paladin. He's part of an order called the Silver Hand. He's apprentice to this great and noble paladin named Uther. And Uther's all about, like, we do what we do to serve the kingdom and protect man. And Arthas is like, does that include, like, killing absolutely everybody who would oppose us? And Uther's like, where the fuck did you get that from? And he's like, well, I mean, that's what we gotta, I mean, that's how we protect our people, right? Right, Uther? And through the course of this campaign, you are leading Arthas on this crusade, like slaughtering orc encampments that like aren't doing anything. They just happen to be green. And an undead plague breaks out that starts to infect this city. And Uther's like, okay, we got to figure out a way to kill the demon that's overseeing this operation, and we might be able to save the people. And Arthas says, there is no time. This entire city must be purged. You go, what? And then, sure enough, your mission objectives become destroy the city faster than the enemy can convert people to the undead.
Oh my god.
Your mission is to slaughter the innocent. And you're like, wait, I thought I'd be playing the human campaign and be like a paladin. And no, you play a ruthless asshole. Wow. And his journey leads him into the frozen land of Northrend, where he's chasing this demon. And the only way that he can beat him is to take up a cursed blade called Frostmourne. Frostmourne is a weapon that holds the soul of a great powerful being called the Lich King, this old orc named Ner'zhul, who is a very powerful necromancer. Mm-hmm. And Arthas doesn't pick this up like an idiot, like, oh, this is the MacGuffin that'll help me. No, Arthas read all the information. He read all the ancient runes. He's like, there is an evil, cursed motherfucker in this sword.
And now it's mine.
But I need it to fulfill
Lord.
my murder boner and kill this guy.
Oh, Lord.
And he does it.
Wow.
And he can't let that sword go.
Mm-hmm.
And so your class changes. You go from being paladin to death knight.
Oh.
You start commanding your own legion of the dead because you've got this necromancer motherfucker in your head. And
Amazing.
your journey takes you into the frozen wastes, and you climb this mountain called Ice Crown Citadel, where you find the throne of the Lich King, and he goes, "Yeah, I can get comfy here." And he sits down and completes his transformation and becomes the Lich King, this all-powerful undead being.
Mm-hmm.
And then the controversial change happened where Warcraft went from being a strategy game to being an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody had the same question. When do we get to fight Arthas? And it finally happened in the second expansion of the game, Wrath the Lich King, in, I believe, 2008. But the expansion, the patch with him might have dropped in 2009. And all hell breaks loose. So it's an MMO, big open world and everything. But they started to weave the narrative into the world itself. So, like, even if you were a low-level player and you were weren't at the point where you could start to actively fight the undead legions, you'd be going to one of your towns to turn in a quest, and then suddenly one of his floating undead fortresses would appear, and zombies and shit would start coming out of it.
Oh shit! Okay.
The plot was escaping out into the rest of the world, whether or not you were at that level yet. So his influence was felt everywhere. And then finally, you're doing it. You get max level. You find some crews. You get a guild together, and you go to Ice Crown Citadel, and you fight the motherfucker 25 on 1. And a beautiful ending where you fell the Lich King and his helmet falls off. You get to see his face again for the first time since the strategy games. And he's still got that boyish charm that we loved. And the fucking ghost of his father, the king, shows up and says, "No king rules forever, my son. Let's go." And carries him into the afterlife.
Oh Lord.
It is such a great story of watching someone go from being the paragon of justice, the chosen one, to being the thing that they wanted to vanquish the most.
Yeah.
And to see it kind of transcend from being this, campaign for an RTS game to being what's still regarded as the greatest encounter in the history of the MMO. Arthas just does it for me. He's wonderful character, wonderful boss mechanics.
Is he also a pretty boy with long red hair?
No, he's a blonde.
Oh, damn it.
He's a blonde. Yeah.
Oh.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
There's just something so enduring about his story. And then Blizzard didn't do anything after that. No expansion came out after Wrath of the Lich King. They certainly didn't release anything called Cataclysm, and there were no sexual abuse allegations. And then they made Overwatch, and then the company dissolved, and then that was it.
And it's a real shame they never made a sequel to Diablo 2.
It is such a shame that they never made a sequel to Diablo 2.
Oh Lord.
So yeah, Arthas the Lich King, he's my number one. Just absolute great storytelling.
Very cool. Okay. So my number one, how do I even begin with this guy? Basically, it's hard, I think, to necessarily measure the impact that a lot of villains or a lot of antagonists have outside of their game. But this one in particular had a really big impact. So he's my number one, not just because I think he's a great villain. I think he's really fun. But also because of the legacy that he left behind. So If any of you remember the fucking halcyon days of I don't know, PS3 era, I think it was PS3, maybe it was PS4. But basically there was a little franchise called Far Cry.
I know where this is going.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And Far Cry had a couple of games, before this one. But 3 kind of felt like it was the one that really became like quote unquote mainstream.
Yeah.
Because, certainly I had not been playing video games when 1 and 2 were really a thing, or I wasn't playing console games when 1 and 2 were a thing. But 3 came out and people were like, ooh, you gotta play this one. And not just that, but the marketing around 3 was awesome. And it was centered on their main villain,
Yep.
Vaz. Yeah. So specifically they had like commercials of this guy Vaz, who is he's like an islander who gets in with like a group of sort of like terrorists / like drug dealers, drug lords, and just basically like rules his island. Like he's essentially just like the kingpin of this island. And maybe sort of like a pirate king, I guess is how I would kind of describe him. And literally the commercials were Vaz, expertly played by Michael Mondo, both in the game itself and also in these commercials, like live action commercials. Mm-hmm. It was him torturing what's his face? McLovin from yes. It was him like torturing this guy, right? Like basically like you washed up on my island and this is what happens to you. And those were the commercials for this game. And then the game itself is you play as a rich douchebag, and you and your rich douchebag friends, like your plane crashes or something like that. You end up like on Vaz's island, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna have fun now."
Yeah.
He's very Joker-esque. He's very just like in your face, absolutely like, from those commercials, his probably most famous line is the whole like, "What's the definition of insanity?" bit that he does. So yeah, he's fully like off kilter, insane villain. So now, apparently Ubisoft realized what they had there, in that they used him as like the main thing for all their marketing, but then in the game, they kill him off halfway through.
Yeah, it's... I love Far Cry 3, but the second Voss is gone, the game's narrative kind of takes a nosedive.
Abso-fucking-lutely. You unlock a second island, and the game tells you, oh, Vaz was actually working for this, like, American dude who's, like, the head drug lord, and you're just like...
I don't want him, Vaz, he's lame. I want Vaz again. Like, Michael Mando's amazing.
Yeah, can you bring Vaz back, though? Because this guy is really... And then, yeah, you spend, like, 4 more hours going through this, like, second island, and you're just like, what am I even doing here? This is terrible.
Yeah.
It feels like we had a natural point of closure.
Yeah, right? And so, and the reason I mentioned specifically his legacy is because since Far Cry 3, the Far Cry series has attempted to recapture the magic that was Vaz, but to do so in a way that didn't fuck him over halfway through the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they immediately rolled out Pagan Min in the 4th game, which I love Troy Baker. He's a miss for me. He was not a very good... He was basically just Vaz as a dictator, and didn't work at all.
Yeah,
and he had cool moments, but mostly it was just kind of like, what are we doing here?
Not to mention there was no real personal connection because the villain literally had no beef with you.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like
literally, and literally, there's a twist. There's a secret ending where if you just he like invites you to his castle or his palace, and he has to take a phone call, and he's like, "Give me 10 minutes." And if you just wait 10 minutes, he just lets you do the thing you came to the country for, and then the game's over. And it's like, okay, that's kind of cute, but
it's
also
super cute.
It's very cute, but also like not quite doing it for me. Five then rolled out Joseph, who I think was a lot closer to Vaz, but also still pretty different. They also like rolled out like the generals were a little bit more fleshed out and interesting, and had sort of their like basically like they made the mini bosses a little bit more like mini Vazes, basically like have their own weird shit going on that you have to contend with before you get up to the big bad. And then I think 6 with Giancarlo Esposito's, I forget the character's name.
It's just Giancarlo Esposito.
It's Giancarlo, yeah.
It's just Gus. It's just
basically.
Gus.
Yeah, I think he was kind of like sort of the perfect sort of like melding of all of their attempts, right? We're like, okay, finally, we're actually he's got a beef with the protagonists have a very clear beef with him. He's definitely like, yeah. So anyway, all that being said is that like basically Ubisoft was like, wow, we just need to keep doing Vaz. Like, we just need to do Vaz again, but like do him right? Do right by him. And yeah, so I think the franchise ended up like better for it, to be honest.
They found what worked and kept trying to capture lightning in a bottle again.
Exactly. Very lightning in a bottle. I don't think they ever quite reached the highs of Far Cry 3, because I think so much of the fun was, you know, the character you played that goes from being this like, you know, sheltered rich douche bro to like Rambo, like you know, and like there's a very sort of like Alice in Wonderland theme to it, and you know, very much like Foz is sort of your White Rabbit and also your Red Queen at the same time, and it's like it's got a really wonderful sort of like entirety to it that I don't think they've quite gotten back, especially since they decided to go with like nameless, voiceless protagonists from then on out.
Yeah, it's one of the other things too, at least for me, is like I fucking love Vaz, and I think Joseph is great too.
Mm-hmm.
I do really wish they would try to go with a different type of villain as opposed to just constantly recapturing Vaz, because like I've played Far Cry 1 and the Far Cry Instincts, which is basically sort of a weird quasi-remake retelling of Far Cry 1, but for consoles. And I played Far Cry 2. And that trilogy, if you go from like both versions of Far Cry 1 and Far Cry 2 and Far Cry 3, they each have their own unique, different villain and story, despite like the over-the-top, bombastic, crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially in like Far Cry 2, where you're basically dealing with a Heart of Darkness, Apocalypse Now, Colonel Kurtz-esque character, right? Which is really interesting and fascinating. Far Cry 2 has a lot of gameplay problems, but I really dig that narrative of it, right? Like, you're going in to kill this gun runner, but you catch malaria, and then that dude who you were trying to kill fucking saves your ass from malaria, and then the whole thing is just you still trying to finish your fucking mission or whatever.
That's awesome.
I just wish that Ubisoft would do other shit.
They don't do risks though. That's
not anymore.
If they're definitely not anymore. But so if they're not doing risks and doing something different, then I still like the direction that they chose to do, right?
Yeah.
Like I think
there's worse directions.
There's worse directions. I think it's a strong I think having a strong villain in an open world game like Far Cry, like the Far Cry's kind of have become, I think that really lends itself to like not making it seem quite as aimless, you know? A lot of open world games kind of suffer from like, oh, what am I doing? Or like, oh, I have to beat this bad guy, but I'm gonna go do a bunch of side quests because you're allowing, like, there's no real timer. Like, you're just allowing me to do whatever the fuck I want right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think they've started to, or I think with 5 and like definitely with 6 has been like they've figured out their formula. All that being said, I would love for them to change it up. Maybe not necessarily from like you don't have to make the villain completely different, but maybe just like I don't know. We could have something new. But either way, Vaz is my number one because I think my boy was done dirty in his own game, but I think it's very clear that like they know that.
Yeah.
They realize that, and they're just kind of like, yeah, we just need to make that but good. But done correctly, because he was already really good.
Just make Blood Dragon 2, Ubisoft. That's all
more
I
Michael
want.
Bean.
Blood Dragon is the best Far Cry game, and I will die on that hill, and I want a sequel. Anyways, before I get to my number one, since I don't think we mentioned it at the start of the podcast, I do want to give a shout out to Kat's husband, Will, who actually cross-checked our lists to make sure that
he did.
You know, so we know if somebody had something higher on another person's list.
Thank you, based husbando.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a rush job because we all kind of, well, at least I forgot until Lee texted being like, "We're podcasting tonight, right?" And I was like, "Oh,
yes, we are.
Yes, we are." Will, love you, Will. He's not gonna listen to this. He's not.
Womp womp.
But the love is there.
My number one comes from a franchise with countless great fucking villains. And it was there was a lot of temptation to choose all sorts of different antagonists from this franchise, because there's so many good antagonists in this franchise. But I had to go with one in particular, because this particular antagonist sort of represents a lot of what I'm looking for in a video game villain, where they are fun, they are a really great rival character in some respects, they are well voice acted, they have fun lines, their boss fights are good, you love to hate them, they're a fucking dick. So my number one is Liquid Snake from Metal Gear Solid 1.
God. Yeah, there you go.
He is such a fucking shitheel. A manipulative piece of shit. I'm not counting his appearances in MGS2 or 4 or fucking 5. Just MGS1. He's a great fucking rival character. He's got fun lines. His boss fights are fucking great. Like Kuze, it's one of those, how many fucking times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? Because unlike Virgil, where like the first fight you lose to him definitively, even though like you beat the battle, but story-wise you lose. Second fight, story-wise, it's a draw. Third fight, story-wise, you overcome it. Liquid Snake, every single fucking fight or encounter, you kick his ass, but he just does not stop coming.
He just doesn't learn his lesson.
He doesn't. He comes at you in a fucking hind D, and you shoot it down, and he somehow gets out of that. He attacks you in a giant fucking robot, and you have to fight the fucking robot in 2 different phases. He fucking drags your unconscious ass to the top of the fucking robot that's broken, and you have a fucking fist fight to a fucking countdown timer before explosions go off. And you knock him off this giant fucking robot where you think he'd fucking die, and then you hop in a Jeep to fucking escape the area. Motherfucker shows up in another Jeep to fucking chase you down. You shoot the ever-loving fuck out of him. Jeeps crash. He should be dead. Motherfucker comes back and then dies of a fucking bioweapon-induced heart attack. It's fucking great. And he's voiced by Cam Clark, who I think is one of the most underrated and underappreciated voice actors.
I'm sorry, the phrase bioweapon-induced heart attack.
Yeah, fucking Fox die, baby.
That's
fucking,
just delicious.
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic. It's Hideo Kojima back when I really was a big fan of Hideo Kojima. Like, I fucking love his older shit. Liquid Snake has this big fucking inferiority complex because him and Solid Snake, they're twins, and Liquid Snake was told that he got all of they're clone twins basically. Liquid Snake was told he got all of the recessive genes, while Solid Snake got all the dominant genes, because Kojima doesn't know how genes work and is using it
God.
like sci-fi bullshit. But in reality, Liquid Snake got all the dominant genes and Solid Snake had the recessive genes. So technically, Solid Snake was the inferior clone. Doesn't matter. It's dumb, but it's fun, and Cam Clark has such great fucking scene-chewing delivery as this British villain. Even though, you know, Cam Clark's not British, it's a pretty fucking good British accent. At least I think so. Maybe actual Brits will be like, no, it's terrible.
Me.
He has one of my favorite fucking lines in the game, since throughout the entire game you have the support character Master Miller, who like is contacting you throughout the entire game and like giving you advice and all this other shit. And it turns out, in a late Act 3 twist, Master Miller's been dead this whole time, and Liquid Snake has been impersonating him and has been secretly fucking manipulating you to get you to do what he wants you to do, because he can't accomplish his terrorist plans due to some fucking convoluted bullshit. And when you realize this, you run outside, you point your gun at Liquid, and you know, Master Miller, the best part about it is like the Kodak conversation. Master Miller has like this long ponytail and he's got sunglasses on. And then, you know, when he reveals he's Liquid, he undoes his ponytail and takes off his sunglasses. And anyways, when you confront Liquid right afterwards, Liquid's first line is, "Snake, did you like my sunglasses?" And it's fucking wonderful. I love it. It's so much fucking fun despite being so stupid. I love it. I love it.
Christ.
It's fantastic. Cam Clark kills it. Liquid refuses to fucking die. And again, I said I wasn't going to count sequels, but like he does, even after the medically induced heart attack, he fucking comes back in later games because fuck you. He comes back as a nanomachine ghost, baby. Let's go!
Oh my god. Nanomachines.
Yeah,
Nanomachine
son. Like, the temptation for Ocelot was there. The temptation for Big Boss was there, although admittedly with Big Boss, most of his exposition as to why he becomes a villain comes from the game where you play as him as a protagonist. Because in the two games where he actually is present, they were 1980s 8-bit games with very light storytelling and more black and white G.I. Joe-esque villains. Mm-hmm. There was, and not to mention, like, every single subsequent Metal Gear game that had Big Boss after MGS3 just diluted and watered down Big Boss's villainy. Like, MGS3 is a perfect origin story for a villain, and we didn't need any more explanation, and Kojima, I guess, became too attached to Big Boss as a character and kept making him not a villain. But yeah, Liquid's great. Ocelot was a very close second. Senator Armstrong as your number 10, Lee, was also fucking up there because he's so fucking fun. Gray Fox is another fucking strong antagonist. Almost the entire fucking cast of MGS1 and MGS2. Fucking Vulcan Raven, Psycho Mantis, Sniper Wolf, Vamp, Fortune, Fat Man, Solidus Snake. Nanomachines.
I like that you refer to Kojima like a band from the 80s of like, man, their early albums were really good, and then they went commercial.
And they went corporate,
Well, there's a running theory especially with the Metal Gear franchise, is because Kojima had a specific co-writer for Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, and then that co-writer kind of disappeared from the games industry. Nobody knows what happened to him. And coincidentally, the moment where the Metal Gear fandom started having larger problems with the narrative and larger problems with individual games stemmed from when this co-writer disappeared. And it's also interesting to note that one of the spin-off games that Kojima had minimal involvement in, Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel on the Game Boy, is one of the, if not the highest rated Metal Gear game, and it was written entirely by his co-writer on his own. So it's like there's theories. I don't want to speculate too hard, but post MGS3 shit got really goddamn dicey. And that's where we got shit like Pacifica Ocean as a villain. And Hot Coldman. And the less said about MGS5, the better.
Hot Coldman is such a good name.
I hate Hot Coldman so fucking much.
What about oh my god, what's the guy from
Die Hard Man?
Die Hard Man.
Yeah.
It's god damn it.
Yeah.
Cisco Jumbo.
Listen, man, he is no Die Hard Man has a dumb name and it's charming, but he's no fucking sure. I'm being jokey, but he's no bisexual vampire, which is Vamp from Metal Gear Solid 2. And he's great. He's voiced by Phil Lamar, Cat.
Oh, beautiful.
He is so good.
Phil Lamar also voiced the Beast.
He did. Oh yeah.
In Infamous.
He voices a bisexual Romanian vampire. So it's Phil Lamar doing his best Romanian accent.
I love it.
It's fucking fantastic.
I love it.
And
all right.
Yeah. So this it's funny, at the start of this podcast before we started recording, I said, yeah, this podcast isn't going to take that long.
Oh no!
And I'm looking at it's almost 3.5 actually.
Hell yeah!
Oh my god!
We needed to be heard.
We did. We apparently had way more to say about these villains than we thought.
Yeah.
But let us talk.
We gotta do the rundown.
About the rundown.
Yeah. Yes. Gotta give that quick little recap.
Yep.
So yeah, once again for the Gooncast. Top 10 favorite gaming antagonists. Lee's list was Senator Armstrong from Metal Gear Revengeance, Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat, Albert Wesker from Resident Evil, The Child from Other Side, Nineball Seraph from Armored Core, Reno and Rude from Final Fantasy VII, Radagon the Red from Elden Ring, Ansem Seeker of Darkness from Kingdom Hearts, Judicator Aldaris from StarCraft Brood War, and Arthas Menethil, the Lich King from Warcraft 3.
Nice. All right, and Kat's list was Pyramid Head from Silent Hill 2, Bowser Jr. from Super Mario Sunshine.
Hell yeah.
Vladimir Makarov from the Modern Warfare franchise, Cirrus from the Myst franchise, Manfred von Karma from Phoenix Wright, or Ace Attorney, rather, I should say. Lord Shimura from Ghost of Tsushima, Albert Wesker from Resident Evil, GLaDOS from Portal, Kessler from Infamous, and Vaz from Far Cry 3.
My list was honorable mention Thomas from Phasmophobia. Number 10 was Pius Augustus from Eternal Darkness. Number 9 was 9S from Nier Automata. Number 8 was Maiden Astraea from Demon Souls. Number 7 was Red Pyramid Thing from Silent Hill 2. Number 6 was Wendy from Rule of Rose. Number 5 was Kuze from Yakuza 0. Number 4, GLaDOS from Portal. Number 3 was Kain from Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. Number 2 was Virgil from Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening. And number 1 was Liquid Snake from Metal Gear Solid.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Solid lists.
Yeah, nice lists. Everybody, good work.
Yeah.
So now we usually tend to close out with what all of us have been up to for this past little bit of time where we weren't preparing for podcast stuff together, but it has not been that long since our last podcast. So
no, it's as of recording, it's been 4 days since the last episode dropped, and about a week, I think, since we recorded the last episode.
So I've basically just been playing more Divinity.
Nice.
Yeah, I got to the part where they're like, "Hey, go be God now," and I was like,
Okay.
What?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'll go be God.
Yeah, that part frustrated me a little bit because I really liked the co-op elements of it, and now it's just like, oh well, I guess eventually there can only be one, so that's not fun. But we'll see. Yeah, but that's about it for me.
Yeah, I it's only been a week, but I've got a couple updates. I've dipped my toes into Grim Dawn, which is an RPG in the vein of dungeon crawlers like Diablo, Torchlight. Very fun so far. Not far enough into it to give it a huge review yet, but a friend of mine whose opinion I trust very much on games has clocked 253 hours of it on Steam, so it must be pretty good.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
I picked up a game. I popped in on the stream of fellow Goon Squad member Ghoul Guts, who was playing Signalis, and I just watched him watch the opening cutscene and closed his stream and immediately bought it so I wouldn't be spoiled.
Cool.
Because I went, holy shit, I need this game in my life. And then I played the massive gaping disappointment that was Secrets of Rose, the Resident Evil Village DLC.
Yeah, Shadows of Rose fucking sucks.
Or yeah, Shadows of Rose, not whatever. The secret's that it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tuned into James's last stream of it, so I caught like the final bit and the final boss, and yeah, I can't believe that they ended on the exact same cliffhanger, cliffhanger cutscene that the original game ended on.
I can't believe they had the balls to have Miranda come back and go, "Blah, it was me," and go, "Oh, come on."
There's not a single original concept in that fucking game outside of just Rose's powers.
Yeah.
It was really, really disappointing. Yeah, I mean, I played really Shadows of Rose and it fucking sucked. I played Fatal Frame 3, They're Tormented, and of the original PS2 trilogy, I think it's the weakest.
Yes, you did complain about that as well, yeah.
I'm a little torn because on one hand, it has some of my favorite horror tropes, and that's like it's investigative horror. Like there's chunks outside of the spooky mansion ghost photography shit where you're like in normal non-spooky situations and you're kind of like researching why shit is spooky. Like it's kind of like Ringu in that regard, and it's like I love that shit. And it's kind of almost reminiscent of The Room in Silent Hill 4 The Room. However, given the length of this game and how much exposition there is via notes, like we're talking like countless 7 to 10 page notes in this game that you gotta just scour through. It really breaks the pacing of the game, and there's a lot of weird design choices that kind of like just make the game more bloated and padded and artificially difficult. So it's kind of a disappointment. I don't hate it, but definitely the weakest of the 3 games. And then in terms of just other stuff that I've played that is worth mentioning, I've played what is jokingly and unironically considered to be the greatest Mega 10 game of all time, which is Jack Bros. And
yeah,
even though it's got some bullshit difficulty to it because it's a fucking Mega 10 game, it's a fun little charming fucking dungeon crawler. That is unironic. I mean, I know saying that it's the best game on the Virtual Boy doesn't really mean shit because the Virtual Boy is a dumpster fire of a platform and it's headache inducing, and a lot of the games on it were kind of shit. But yeah, no, this is a fun little game. And it granted, I wasn't playing it on actual Virtual Boy hardware, so I don't have a fucking, nosebleed and migraine. But, for a game that only is in red and black, it looked pretty good. Yeah,
I was really impressed with the visual style on that one.
Yeah, it's a fun little adventure game, and I got to save Ink's son. And yeah, it's I would definitely say it's probably one of the better Mega 10 games. It's a lot of fun, even though there's some bullshit difficulty to it.
Hell yeah.
Very cool.
Well,
yeah,
good stuff
and-
there, goons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we sign this one off? I'm like,
No.
I'm spent.
No, we're
This
going for
was-
another 3 hours.
Oh my god.
We have to
And
talk about
Oh,
all
yeah, we
27
gotta do top 10
Xehanorts.
Top 10
protagonists.
heroes. Yeah, I was
Yeah, top 10
gonna say.
protagonists.
All right, number 10. No.
Xehanort. Number 9, Xehanort.
There
Number
was
8,
this period
Xehanort.
of time from the late 1990s
God damn
to
it,
the
no.
late 2000s.
No, mute him.
Listen, I'm doing this exact same gag on our horror thing.
Hell yeah, you are.
No, you are.
I've been sitting on this gag for a while, and I'm very tilted that Lee beat me to it.
Yeah, I'm a trendsetter. What can I say?
Yeah.
All right.
God.
Well, on that note, this has been your
Yeah.
boy, Lee Alder, the Valley Jester. You can sometimes catch me over on twitch.tv/Valley Jester. Not currently. I'm not currently streaming. It will take something to bring me back to it. What that thing is, I do not know, but we shall see.
And I am Kat, aka the Attack Cat, on Twitch. I actually will be streaming again for the first time in forever because I'm joining Saber and a bunch of other goons for Extra Life on Saturday.
Hell yeah. For the keys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the kids. So yeah, I'm going to. I'm not entirely sure yet what I'll be doing. I think the thing I would like to do is a Nancy Drew marathon. But we're gonna see. I might be able to like whip up some little surprise here and there. But yeah, we'll see. And also I will be a part of the Corpse Party Suffering Parade.
Yeah,
at some
Lee will
point.
too.
Let it
Uh-huh.
flow through you.
Yes.
It all ends in P.
acceptance.
It all ends in
Acceptance.
P.
Yeah, I'm James, also known as Saber0307. You can catch me on Twitch at that username. I'm not reading the full website. Everybody get fucked.
The true villain of this podcast
Was Renzi all along.
was
And-
Renzi
and-
all along. Oh
and
wait,
So
fatigue.
there
no.
was this period of time from the late 1990s to the late 2000s.
When Renzi was a hero, and then he went into his villain arc.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.
I love you, Renzi.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh yeah, guys, it'll be a nice short podcast.
I know.
I blame Renzi.
Oh my god.